5:30 p.m. We'll call this meeting to order. Thank you, council, for being here. Thank you, staff. Thank you, guests, for being here. Would you please do roll call?
Mayor Rodham,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Perry,
Here.
Councilmember Caffey,
Here.
Councilmember Willie, Councilmember Oliveris,
Here.
Councilmember Starnes,
Present.
Councilmember Milton.
Here. If you would stand for the pledge, followed by the invocation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you would please remain standing. We have a special guest here tonight to lead our invocation. Mr. Kyron Kohler is going to lead our invocation, and he has his younger brother, who I'm told is one of the smartest kids in the kindergarten class. Jude is with him as well. And I want to recognize their mother, Courtney, who's with them as well. Kyron, lead us in a prayer, young man. Amen.
Thank you,
Sir,
Kyron.
well done, young man.
You did a great job, Kyron. You can take my seat when you're ready.
Okay, next on the agenda, we're going to consider and take any action on the resolution canvassing the votes for the general election and the special elections held on May 2nd, 2026. The first I'll be reading is the Resolution R 2026-5-11, number 1, canvassing of the returns declaring the results of the general elections of officers of the City of Rockdale held on the second day of May 2026, whereas the regular meeting of the Rockdale City Council held on the 11th day of 2026, there came in to be considered the returns of the general election of the officers of the City of Rockdale, Texas, therefore held on the second day of May 2026, same being the first Saturday of May 2026 for the purpose of electing the hereinafter named officials, and whereas it appears to the satisfaction of the City Council that said election was in all respects duty and legally held, and said returns hereof duly legally made to said City Council, and that each candidate's said election received the following votes. Candidate's name, John Lawhon, received total votes 45. Candidate's name, Nathan Flores, received total votes 74 for the council member of East Ward, therefore declaring the winner of East Ward Council Member Nathan Flores. Council Member West Ward, unopposed, Lynn Perry. Therefore, that said, Nathan Flores is hereby declared to be duly elected Council Member East Ward. And that said, Lynn Perry is hereby declared to be duly elected Council Member West Ward of the City of Rockdale, Texas, to fill their respective offices for 3 years, ending in the month of May 2029. I attest, Mayor Ward Rodham, and this will also be signed by our City Secretary, Shanna Johnson. These gentlemen will now be sworn in by our City Secretary, Shanna Johnson. Nathan, if you want to go up to the podium, your family is welcome to join you, Nathan.
And I'll take a picture.
You got some pictures, Esme?
Yeah, I'm going to. My lens is always full of makeup.
God forbid the poor be here. He never showed me most. Oh.
in, you could just stand right
Don't want
here.
to go up to the podium, good. I, Ben Perry, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of my elected office of the state of Texas and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States, of this state, so help me God.
Congratulations, Nathan. Thank you for your service to be. As I told both of our candidates who signed up for the election to the East Ward, I thank them for putting their names up for the election to give our citizens an opportunity to have a choice for vote. That is, it's a process to put your name up for an election, no matter what kind of election it is. So I sincerely thank those candidates for putting their names out there to give our citizens an opportunity to have a choice when it comes to voting for representation in our city of Rockdale. And I thank Mayor Pro Tem Perry for putting his name back in to continue to duly serve the citizens of Rockdale in the West Ward. Moving on to the special elections. Try to read through this again without stumbling and fumbling and falling. Whereas pursuant to the city charter, the Texas Election Code, and the City Council of Rockdale, Texas convened on May 11th, day of May 2026 at 5:30 p.m. for the purpose of canvassing the vote of the special election held on May 2nd, 2026. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Rockdale, Texas, that Section 1, Canvass of Vote, Special Election, A, there came to be considered the returns of the special election held on May 2nd, day of 2026, May 2026, pursuant to Chapter 9, Texas Local Government Code, for the purpose of voting on the following propositions to amend the city charter, and it appearing from the returns of said special election duly and legally made, that each proposition received the following votes cast yes, the proposition submitted, and no, the proposition submitted. Proposition A, eminent domain, 266 in favor, 79 against. Proposition B, annexation and de-annexation, disannexation, 249 for, 88 against. Proposition C, 276 for, 65 against. Proposition D, 302 for, 44 against. Proposition E, 303 for, 42 against. Proposition F, 182 for, 168 against. Proposition G, 244, 108 against. Proposition H, 302 for, 41 against. Proposition I, 216 for, 96 against. Proposition J, 274 for, 49 against. Proposition K, 321 for, 17 against. Proposition L, 224, 119 against. And that is it. Passed and approved on the 11th day of May 2026, first reading of such ordinance. Passed and approved on this day, June 2026, when we do the second reading. Didn't know I was going to have to read that again.
Good job. Good job.
Can we revise that law? Okay. Yes. Yes. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the resolution. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor of said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. All in favor, what was the? Okay, for the first reading of the ordinance of the special election, a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second
I have
that.
a motion and a section to approve, second to approve the first reading of the ordinance of the second election.
Yeah, vote.
Is there any discussion? Be no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Councilmember Willie.
Nope, I'm good.
Motion passes. Thank you. Councilmember Melton, you want to come up here with me, buddy? So Councilmember Melton has duly served the city of Rockdale for 5 years, 6 years? Three. Seems like it's been 5 or 6, right? I understand. So he now has his, this has been a history that we've done in the city of Rockdale, I understand. I don't know how far it goes back, but you get a street sign named after you, and we're probably gonna put it on one of the bumpiest streets. It's been a rough ride. No, I'm joking.
Sounds like a high-end.
I'm joking. But, and a plaque, but in all seriousness, and I always call you Brother Dave, thank you for your service to the citizens of Rockdale. You have been duly vested in this community, and you've taken your role very serious, and you've taken your representation of the citizens of the East Ward very serious, and you've laid a lot of groundwork for your replacement over there. You've set a very high standard for that young man to follow, and congratulations and thank you for what you did. And you're welcome to speak.
Thank you to all the citizens of Rockdale, especially the East Side people who I've had the privilege of serving. It has been a wonderful 3 years. I want to thank all of my fellow council members, past and present, for your support and putting up with me along the way, as well as our city employees. And then one thank you that I think sometimes gets overlooked. If you serve on council, your partners, your husbands, your wives, your family, they go through a lot as well.
It's a lot.
And I couldn't have done it without the help of my life partner and husband, Ray Mata. And I want to say thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Brother Dave.
Thank you.
Come on up, Nathan.
First 4 agenda items are yours.
We're gonna take a nap meanwhile.
Hey, Dave.
Nathan, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Just so y'all know, I just wanted to share we're proudly all class of Rockdale class of 2000. So this is class of 2000 representing over here.
Oh,
We all graduated together, actually.
All 3 of them?
Yeah.
Wow.
that's awesome.
That doesn't mean we vote together.
Yeah. No, we don't always vote together.
Your principal would be very proud of you.
I don't know. He played power a couple times. Mr. Sanders. Welcome.
Next on the agenda is we have to have an election of one council member as mayor pro tem. Do I have any?
I'm ready.
I'd like to nominate Councilman.
Do I have any other
I
nominations?
second that.
Second.
Third,
I
fourth.
have a nomination and a second for Mayor Pro Tem Lynn Perry. Is there any discussion?
You want to discuss it, Lynn?
No discussion. We'll vote. All in favor of said motion, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Mayor Pro Tem Perry, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have somewhere to be. All right, announcements. Tim, I think you had an announcement before we do our pet of the month.
Yes, I would just like to say, over the last couple of weeks, we've gotten a number of complaints about the condition of the IWF cemetery. And I know that Gerald had his whole crew out there last week trying to address and get that all looking sharp, and it is. And, you know, that is very important to the city and to Gerald and to his staff and to myself. And I just want to reassure folks that we will continue to make sure that that does not slip and continues to be maintained to a high standard.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Want to bring our pet of the month up?
Dave,
I think Dave wants to adopt it.
Hey, you know what they say about animals and kids?
What's her name?
Honey,
Honey?
honey.
Mr. Kohler, would either of you boys like to maybe adopt that dog right there to you? You might want to talk to your mom about that.
And to date, how many, we started this campaign, I'll call it, a few months ago, as well as you guys along with the Paw Group. Yep, going to Georgetown and some places, taking dogs for adoption. How many animals have we adopted out in the past few months?
Oh, in the past few months, it must be around 20.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we were overrun with animals sitting in our shelter. And, you know, realistically, it's a sad life for a dog, right? To be held up in a shelter, although we give them great care. It's a sad life for a dog. So good on you, good on our Paw Group. Thank you for the hard work you're doing. For finding these dogs homes. It's a wonderful thing.
And we'll be in Georgetown again on the 23rd, and at Taco Fest, we adopted our dog.
That's had a great setup there. Looked very nice.
Yeah, so it's been going really good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right. Do we have anyone signed up for citizens communications?
yeah.
Citizens.
They did well.
Y'all are next. Y'all are next.
Chase is trying to go somewhere too. I think Chase has another meeting too. But you're doing good. You're going through it fast.
There's quite a few on for you.
Can we get a proclamation?
And the students?
Yeah.
So I'm going to, Mayor Pro Tem Perry brought up a good point. We've got several people on the citizens communications. I'm going to make a change on the agenda as we've got a few people here representing the motorcycle group for motorcycle safety awareness, and we've got some students here for the proclamation as well for the recognizing the students of the education program from a joint Temple College and Bioscience Institute graduates. I'm going to bring up the motorcycle group here if y'all want to come up behind me, and I'm going to read this proclamation, and then we'll jump to citizens communications. Thank you for understanding.
Congratulations.
So the proclamation reads as this: whereas motorcyclists are relatively unprotected and therefore more prone to injury or death in a crash than other vehicle drivers, and whereas all those who put themselves behind the wheel are responsible for being aware of motorcyclists, regarding them with the same respect as any other vehicle traveling on our highways, and whereas it is the responsibility of riders and motorists alike to obey all traffic laws and safety rules. And whereas we encourage Milam County citizens to do their part to increase safety and awareness in our community, and for motorcycle riders and motorists to give each other the mutual respect they deserve. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Ward Rodham, Mayor of the City of Rockdale, Texas, do hereby declare the month of May 2026 to be observed as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. Ride safe and have fun. Ride safe and have fun, yes, sir.
No, I'd love to. I'd be honored to.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll take a few.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, motorcyclists are all of us, right? All of us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Our students, can our students come up, please, that are here?
Chase and Temple College. Can Temple College come
Yep.
up as well?
Temple College as well.
Thank you, bud.
So I'll read their names first. How are you? Ward Rodham, nice to meet you. How are you? I think we met before, Ward Rodham. Absolutely. So the Caroline Zayamaha, Enrique Juarez, Aiden Scales, Vanessa Yepes? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Good job.
Brianna Vergara, Zeb Skurhawk, Chase Nadu, that's you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Mason Lillard. So the first group I read, the first 5 are Temple College Bioscience Institute graduate, and then the last 3, Zeb, Chase, and Mason, graduated with the associate's degrees already. So congratulations to them. I'll read this proclamation. Whereas the City of Rockdale recognizes the importance of education, preparing our youth for future success, whereas the Temple College and the Temple College of Bioscience Institute Middle College program provides highly motivated high school students with the opportunity to excel in a STEM-focused curriculum, and whereas these dedicated students have shown exemplary commitment to and dedication to their studies, earning up to 60 college credit hours in addition to their high school curriculum. That's impressive. And whereas it is with great pride that we acknowledge the significant achievements of these students who have earned and are working towards an associate degree from Temple College before even graduating from high school, and whereas with their outstanding achievements and exemplary behavior have made them role models for citizens and young and old. Now there it be proclaimed that as the Mayor of the City of Rockdale extends its greatest, sincerest gratitude and recognition to the scholarly students who are part of the Temple College and or Temple College Bioscience Institute and attend Rockdale High School. Be it further proclaimed that the City of Rockdale commends these students for their unwavering dedication, hard work, and commitment to their education. In witness whereof, I, Ward Rodham, the Mayor of the City of Rockdale, Texas, do hereby set my honor and cause the official seal of the City of Rockdale to be affixed on this 11th day of May 2026. Congratulations and very well deserved. Very proud. Good job. Yours is in there as well.
Mayor, did we get a picture already?
Absolutely.
Can we get a picture? Oh, yes, ma'am, of course.
Share it with Miss.
Come on, Nikki.
A little bit. Chase looks like a young Gronkowski.
Chase, sir.
Chase, I don't ever remember seeing your dad up here.
He
for
does.
this certificate.
It's like a Rob Gronkowski.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Nikki, you gotta be fast. I can only suck in so long.
Thank you, Chase.
Gotta breathe.
Thank you, Temple College. All right, you can take a seat probably now, I think.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we are on to citizens' communications now. Judith, I have you up first. You will step up to the podium. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. 3 minutes.
Judith, is it your office or the house behind there? It's the office, okay. Yes, ma'am.
But it's the house behind that's flooded.
Okay.
Miss Matula, is this the same, so off of West Cameron, when you pull in to the right, is this the same entrance that's going in to where, to the office building is?
That's
I will
where the
give you a
carport is? Where the-
Corner of Charles and
Okay, it's where that carport is right there. Okay.
I, I'll give you a call in the morning, Judith, and meet you over there, and I'll see what we can get with TxDOT. All
I think it's fair.
right, thank you.
Your Eastward guy said something too, sorry.
Last time it took on for like an hour.
Okay.
Okay. Chad Pyatt.
I'm just here with Judith, just to verify the water was in the house. And, you know, the house is built up, it's probably 6 or 8 inches off the ground, the concrete before the slab, before it was down. And the water was actually over the threshold of the door, probably 6 inches above the door. And the flood hit it back all the way around the whole house. And there's water, you know, pooled inside the house in each room. And it's, like I said, it's coming from cold, you know, the road, right now, the road is still in the water right now, partial in the water.
I do want to say this, Ms. Matula has contacted me directly about this situation, and I did put her in touch with City Manager Kelsey. I think this has been an ongoing issue for quite some time, and whatever we need to do to find some type of resolution, because we just, up to this point, I think City Manager Whitaker had made multiple promises to get this resolved, and is yet to be resolved, and whatever we can do to get over there and get this handled, and put to bed.
I think it's TxDOT that this problem belongs to, in my opinion.
You're probably, I think the best resolution is just, let's address this head on and find a way to get this fixed once and for all, because she has been dealing with this for, in my understanding, multiple years. And thank you, Mr. Kelty, for getting on top of that tomorrow.
John?
I'm pretty much gonna verify what Judith said. This has gone on much longer than when Chris, it was going on when I was elected mayor in 2013. But, it has continued, it went on forever after TxDOT came through and fixed it and left the hole with no break. A vehicle plow into it,
Mr. King, when this was brought to your attention previously, what was your solution to get this fixed?
We weren't doing as much at the time when I was dealing with the.
Understood. Okay.
Okay, because Frank was off the hole and the car drove into it. Slapped off my text off.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Shannon Cornegie, representing the Rockdale Paw Crew.
That was unusual. I've seen it before, but until.
What did you say?
It was deep.
You have one in FFA?
He's been an officer since he's been in eighth grade. Yeah, but he's going for president. Hopefully he gets it.
Yeah. Does he do parliamentary procedure?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to flop it.
Oh, it's running hard. I mean, you could do it.
On.
Get you too and get out there.
I just wanted to be fair, that's all. But no, I'm gonna kick him in the knee too.
Mr. Mayor, council members, Mr. City Manager, and Chief Metters. Mr. Mayor, respectfully request additional time if needed.
Yes,
When I
ma'am,
spoke
granted.
at the January council meeting, I mentioned we were working on obtaining our nonprofit designation, which we now have, and our nonprofit is named Rockdale Paw Crew, and each of you have a copy of our mission statement. Our biggest accomplishment to date is that what we are most proud of is the adoption of Apollo, who resided at the shelter for 3 years. He was neutered and brought up to date on his vaccinations. And we spent approximately 6 days per week with him, teaching him to walk on a leash and take direction. We do stay in touch with his new family, and he is settling into his new life nicely. Thank you, Mayor Ward, for attending his going away party. We have had a couple of work days at the shelter as well. We were able to get a donation of all new ceiling tiles from Rockdale Hardware, and Buckholz Construction donated their time and installed the tiles in support of the shelter. Comfort AC installed a new AC unit at the shelter recently, and they donated their time for the installation and sold all parts to the shelter at cost. At the beginning of the year, Integrity Roofing and 77 Crossroads Storage donated materials to complete a French drain at the entrance of the shelter, and we also installed windows and roof soffit, is that correct, what that's called? At the annex building behind the shelter. Currently, we are working on getting estimates from electricians to run electricity to the annex building behind the shelter. We feel this would be huge. For additional space for the overflow of dogs, adoption events, veterinarian visits, and the like. We have attended adoption events out of town with the ACOs, and these were successful. And we've had a few fundraisers to raise funds to assist with the annex project. We are pleased with the support from the Rockdale Community Market, as well as local business owners that have donated their time to assist us. Our goal is enhancing the shelter to be similar to that of the Taylor Shelter. We believe with continued support from all of you and the community, this goal will be successful. Rockdale Paw Crew meets monthly, typically on the last Thursday of each month. So feel free to contact any of us, specifically me or Lisa Juarez, if you would like to attend any of our meetings or if you have any questions about our mission. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Dave Melton?
You didn't take a break or anything.
Now, what do you really think?
Dang.
Dave Melton, 520 East Melton. See y'all. As an East Side resident and former East Side council member, I can say that downtown Rockdale has come a long way in the past 15 years from when I first moved here. Facade grants, new businesses, a brand-new police department, our sidewalks and modern safety enhanced crosswalks downtown. Just to have a really nice setting. I was at Red's Corner a couple evenings ago, and as I was going down, I thought, what a nice downtown. What a good vibe, as they say, we have downtown. I have 2 sets of slideshow, and I hope I've built up enough equity. If I go a little bit over, that you'll forgive me. But the first set of slideshow is just a little glimpse of things that you see now when you are downtown. Just about all of that you just saw didn't exist 15 years ago. If you were just driving through town or just a passerby, you would think, oh, what a cute little town that is. But however, not to lay blame with anyone, that's not the intent here, or this presentation to lay blame or find fault, but rather in the theme of continuous quality improvement, I have a second set of pictures I'd like you to look at of this same few block area. The second set of pics could be translated somewhat harshly to say that some things around town are decaying, not cared for. Littering is an ongoing issue. Building owners aren't always accountable for maintaining their properties. Conclusions and situations like this are very much multifaceted issues that will require a multifaceted approach and response. And so as I leave council, I would like to challenge council, the mayor, and the city manager to work together to consider a strategy that might be part Public Works, part MDD, part Rockdale Downtown Association, part Rockdale Earth Day, to be as proactive as we can. We're already a little too late. But to be proactive and get in front of some of this. I don't know who did that first mural that you saw there. It's a beautiful mural, and it's been up for all 15 years that I've lived here, but it's starting to decay. The mural that Earth Day did on the El Camino Real Trail, if you look up closely, you'll see that there are cracks and issues. And so I don't know what the answer is. I don't know where Vision Historic Preservation Foundation might be going moving forward. I don't know if there's a way to partner with Rockdale Historical Society, whatnot, to kind of talk about how do we maintain and keep downtown as nice as possible, and how do we keep it as litter-free as possible. And then lastly, I would just want to remind you that last year, I don't remember the month, I worked with Councilman Perry on a volunteer presentation and what that might mean for the city. And it's definitely not something that answers all of our issues, but I hope that that does not get shoved under your notebooks or forgotten, because I do think there is some value in trying to get our citizens to do as much. A true marketing plan includes the 4 Ps: price, product, promotion, and lastly, place. What does the place look like? And I will always champion that we need to make sure that downtown is a place that we don't neglect and that we have it shining all the time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dave.
Dave.
Steve Spencer. I'll remind you, Steve, you have 3 minutes, sir. I'm sure you've been sitting there listening to that speech, so you're fully aware.
I'm gonna be speedy, so please ignore my speediness as a non-compassion about my topics. I come before you tonight as
initiating the first step as the city begins its budgeting process. Last year, our
I'm sorry.
tax rate for the city of Rockdale maintained the same tax rate as what it had the year before. We were the only governing body in Milam County that maintained the same tax rate. School district tax rate went down. County tax rate went down. Last year, I watched good service provided, but the YouTube of the council meeting watched as the city voted in the final tax rate. If my memory serves me correctly, we had a surplus of over $800,000 that was new revenue based on property valuations that had increased. I watched the council, two people on council, one being the mayor, inquired about a dispatcher position and indicating that that is a hard job. I know from personal experience that is a hard job. Councilmember Caffey inquired, what are we going to tell the residents about why we're spending for these 5 positions that council had offered up? The questions were right. The response, in my opinion, was not right. We as citizens expect results for our dollars. We don't expect to see streets in poor repair, water still brown coming out of the faucet. We have a meth head parade that runs down Highway 79 on a daily dose. City Hall provides customer service that begins at 8:30 in the morning, ends at 4:30 in the morning. Ends at 4:30 in the afternoon. Is then closed for an hour during the day. But we put 2 more positions in City Hall in last year's budget. Is our servant's towel bigger than our ego? I would challenge us to increase the size of our service towel for our tax dollars. The tax rates stayed the same. The expectations did not. Our expectations are changing. I will spearhead a group of people to make sure we're getting our benefit for our tax dollars. I don't have a problem paying taxes. I have a huge problem paying taxes. As the highest municipality of any municipality on a contiguous county that touches Milam County, Rockdale has the highest tax rate out of every municipality. I'm not proud of that, nor, if I was proud of it, what are we getting for our dollar? Today is the grade season. School is fixing to graduate. I'm gonna leave it open-ended, rhetorical. Where do y'all sit? Evaluation. It's time to evaluate as we begin our budget process. Are our streets? Do we expect more? Do we expect more from our water? Do we expect more from our police? My car was broken into 3 years ago. Council Caffey, him and his wife, helped me canvass the neighborhood. I've not, to this day, heard one phone call about a firearm stolen out of my car. My mistake for having it there. But I haven't got one call. I'm asking, let's have an expectation for our dollars and not rubber stamp the budget process that's coming before you. Ask questions and be willing to say the hard thing, no, not today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what was your name?
Chris?
Steve Spencer.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. I appreciate the time this afternoon and want to start by saying this comes from a place of genuinely caring about Rockdale and wanting to see our community continue to improve and grow. Many of us in this room have known each other for years. We all want what is best for Rockdale. And I believe everyone here wants to leave this town better than they found it. From what Mr. Melton said, I believe that he feels the same way. But there's a growing concern among the residents regarding the combination of rising property values and the city tax rate. Touching on what Steve said, he is absolutely right. The city has not touched that rate. It's 85 cents per 100 and has been that way for quite some time. Putting the rising property values and the city tax rate together, they create significantly higher property taxes for many families. Even when the tax rate itself stays relatively similar, higher appraisals still result in residents paying much more year after year. Milam County Appraisal District's own reports show that they use comptroller property value studies, ratio studies, and statistical targets to determine whether values need to be adjusted upward to meet market standards. Regardless of the reason for those increases, residents are now facing substantially higher property taxes, while many still feel they are not seeing matching improvements in roads, utilities, and infrastructure. We're seeing surrounding counties like Williamson County acknowledge softening housing markets and reductions in residential values, while many residents here still feel burdened by continually elevated property tax pressures. Citizens want affordability and confidence that increasing tax burdens are producing visible improvements in roads, utilities, and infrastructure. Even when market values stabilize or slightly decrease, taxpayers often still feel squeezed because local tax rates and rising assessed values continue keeping overall tax bills high. I understand the appraisal district and the city are separate entities, and I understand the city does not directly control appraised values. However, from the taxpayer's perspective, rising appraisals combined with the city tax rate still result in substantially higher tax bills, and citizens simply want to see clearer improvements. We continue to hear frustrations regarding utilities and water costs. I just saw that the water base rate was going up as well. So infrastructure improvements often feel slow or difficult to recognize from the perspective of the taxpayer. I understand that city projects take time. Budgeting is complicated and many issues are not easy fixes. I do not think anyone here believes these problems can be solved overnight, but I just want everybody in this room to continue evaluating the overall tax burden, long-term plans for road and infrastructure, and utility concerns. Another thing I want to bring up is if we're talking about roads, I would like to start with the road in front of my office between Abiding Choice and Climate Control. It is one of the worst roads, I believe, in Rockdale, Texas. I mean, I do have a vested interest in it, but I mean, if I'm driving in the ditch because that's the smoothest part of the road, there's an issue there. And you're talking about the intermediate school traffic that, I mean, the amount of cars that...
Chris, I'll give you one more minute.
Okay, so the amount of cars that traverse that road is really, really high during school, because if in the afternoon when the buses are turning and they don't want to follow the bus, they're cutting down our road, and the condition of the road is...
I can make a direct comment to that because we've had discussion about that before. We had an agreement with the county to do some work with that and months ago, and I apologize because I don't know where that went to, and we will look into that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
That is the.
Chris, what was your last name?
Guerin, G-E-R-R-E-N.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Chris, can I say one thing to you outside of this? Tremendous job you guys have done at the Mark Center. Wonderful place. I think the capacity has increased from 25 to 40 clients at that weekly? And Mayor, I know that's out of what this is, but great job you guys do there.
Thank you.
Moving on to presentations, Gerald.
Well, that's one way to get led into.
Feel like you got set up?
No, I hear it from at the golf course all the time.
You play golf with these guys, don't you?
The first one
He plays golf. I don't know.
Well, there's two things, and the first is not on here, and that's the budget workshop that we're going to be doing, and the strategic operations plan.
The lights off?
Yeah, if you don't mind, thank you. The strategic operations plan that we're going to be going over in the next month or so. I'm going to be real pleased for y'all to see what we do, because as he said, it's not seen out front very often, and I think we've made a good strategic plan that'll show you where and what we've tried to do with the utility department and public works. Okay, which one is it? The middle one?
Oh, just tell me, I'll do it.
The public works projects that we have right now that are going on are the distribution system replacement pipe project, which is drinking water state revolving fund, wastewater treatment plant, clean water state revolving fund. We have the East Cameron lift station that we're working on right now. We had our first pre-construction meeting last Friday. Downtown sidewalk, which is CDBG, the Cornerstone lift station. We have the meter replacement project, which also includes the My Water Advisor program, which, as you know, will have an app that people in town can go to and see what their usage is at any time. It also give notice if they have leaks, or if they can set a maximum amount of water they want to use in a month and be notified. The street repair right now, that we have 4 streets targeted with just under $500,000 that we're going to be working on, and this was done through.
Redbud is not on there.
No, that is not part of the 4 streets that we were going to begin with. It was, because it's concrete, we put it aside.
Okay.
We have a problem with well number 7 that's been dogging us for quite some time, and we're about to put that back into operation. We're going to be putting variable frequency drives on all of our motors and pumps, and that's going to be through the 2025 Post Oak Savannah grant that we have. The Outfield Road Bridge, as you probably know, is closed, and about a year ago when it was first closed, it was about right at $100,000. I'm sure that cost has gone up, but there's no funds currently in the budget for that. The generators, I don't know if it was finalized today, but the notice to proceed was put out today to the contractor, and so we will be going forward with our generators, which will be one at Mill Street, one at Texas Street, and then a mobile one for our well system or lift stations, whatever we need. We're doing upgrades at Texas Street plant. Some of that work we're doing with Post Oak Savannah money. Some of it we're doing with just some ingenuity of one of our new assistant public works director using the Connex to build a lab, not a lab, but a dosing station for that. Of course, you know the ramp grants with the hangar door, and we're supposed to start this week on the runway and the repairs to the runway. And Veterans Park Pool, that's $21,000 that we've given to EPCO Residential to do work inside the pool, to paint, put indoors, and bring that up so that it can be useful this year. And then the sewer main relocation, which was on 487, also upgrade for the Cornerstone subdivision, which was from ARPA and city funds. Okay, you can go to the next one. The water distribution project, that's our entire system except for Cornerstone that you can see there. Going to the next one. All the areas that have the colored circles are highlighted are areas within the city that we're working with on phase 2 of our water distribution plans. And we've just had a meeting last week. We're going to have an additional funds because of the interest of our money has done over the last 4 years, that we're going to be able to do an additional change order, and also probably a phase 3 for this water, which will hopefully put in another 10 or 15,000 linear feet.
That map is representative of phase 1 and 2.
Phase 1, well, most of that's phase
2.
Phase 2.
This is phase 2. Phase 1 is not shown, it's already been completed.
Because phase 1 was just a 10,000 linear feet down Ackerman and in that area, which was part of the 487 work for TxDOT. Okay. So right now that equals 53,500 linear feet of water line main replacement, including fire hydrant, valves, meters, appenditures. Contract. Thank you. Contract value $9.2 million with right now about 30% complete, and we've had really good luck. I think I've told you that before with Lopez Construction out of Houston. They've done a good job with substantial completion in February of 2027. Okay. Most of the work, a vast majority of the work has been done by boring, and that has really, they've gone under most all the other boring that has been done that has caused us all the trouble with Nix Link and Atmos and those kinds of projects, and they're coming right along with that. Next. The East Cameron Lift Station, well, if you may know where it is, which you may not, but it's across from Ross Robles, and you can go to the next picture. That's what it looks like, and it's been bad. We had a project for it back in 2021 that was not approved by CDBG. And so nothing happened with it except us just keeping it running for a time. Then MDD put in for a CDBG when Ross Robles was going to expand, and that was approved, and that's what we're working on right now. And that will, the next one. We'll have a pre-manufactured lift station that'll come in on a trailer. And as I said, we had our pre-construction meeting for that last Friday, and that work should be starting sometime in the next 30 days.
And that was a $500,000 project with a $50,000 match from the MDD.
Yes. And this is what a real lift station looks like, and that is the lift station at Cornerstone. Just go back a little, like one more time. We will probably be putting another lift station in at the new subdivision, Milton Landing.
Right.
And we would anticipate something of this quality out there, and that's where we're headed with our infrastructure, is those types of upgrades. Okay. The downtown CDBG sidewalk project, this is before, and you can see the after. There was a lot of work that ESCO did. They were the contractor on that. A lot of things that were old and needed to be changed, but weren't necessarily easy. And this is another area where you can see where they've done a really good job at Milam and Green Street.
And that project is nearly ready to close out?
It is closed out, except for the financial part of it. It is been closed. That's the work we did on the Texas Street aerator. You can see the picture on the left is of a unit that was put in sometime back in the late 80s, early 90s, completely worthless. And then the new aerator that we put in, and with Mr. Perry's help of his crane and his gentleman, my guys did all the work to do that installation and got that up and operational.
I also wanted to point out that when they did take that down, it had like
10,000 pounds or more. I had a picture of it, but I didn't.
of iron oxide
Of
that
iron
had
oxide.
collected in that aerator over time. And so the new one is, it doesn't have that issue. They also, at the same time they did that, they cleaned out the one on Texas Street and also removed quite a bit of iron oxide. And there's been noticeable improvement in water quality as a result of.
As far as the percentage, I mean, the iron and manganese are secondary constituents. So that is part of a water quality testing, and we have no problem meeting those requirements right now. And then the sewer line project, we did the final walkthrough last Friday also, and basically what we had were some collapsing areas around some manholes that just sunk in, and they're going to be fixing that, and then one driveway that needed some repair, and that project will be closed out also. And it was a replacement of 1,400 linear feet of sewer line and manholes, and the contract value was $557,224, and it is.
And that project was funded with some leftover ARPA funding and then also CIP and contingency funding from the city. So we did not have an outside CDBG or Department of Ag grant for that.
And that's just pictures of where we would put in some new manholes. We found about half a dozen manholes we didn't know were there. Some of them were right under the edge of the 487, and some of them were just out in the middle of nowhere. But those were all pulled out and discontinued. And
How many?
oh, there was about 6, I believe, that we found.
Most of them brick or, just very, very old.
There is one more project, but before I get to the wastewater treatment plant, some other things that we've got on our plate is that with the money that's left over on the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, we're looking to put in a sludge press, and that's about, I had that paper, but I forgot.
Just about $2 million.
About $2 million. And that will automate our sludge handling at the wastewater plant. It's very time intensive and labor intensive now. The screw press will also more than double the amount of water that's taken out of it, which means we're hauling less water to the
Landfill.
Thank you, landfill. excuse my mind, my 72-year-old mind doesn't move.
You're fine.
You're doing awesome.
Joe, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Additional water main replacement through the change order, I told you about that. Phase 3 for the drinking water state revolving fund. The consumer confidence report will be coming out in the next couple of weeks, which we do every year, has to come out by June 1st, or July 1st. And this is the second year in a row we'll have no water violations for 2 years in a row. And we've also had 2 inspections, audits from TCQ on our water and our wastewater in that time. Continued push to maximize city road repairs. Street coring is coming up. I've got bids on that. I'm gonna probably put a agreement out this week for somebody to come in and do those 4 roads. And then the airport ramp grant, which is the hangar runway and windsock improvements.
What are the 4 roads we're starting with, and why have we started yet?
Well, the reason we're starting with those 4, there was a study done that was sent by Mr. Blanchard that quantified all the roads in town, and we have a large Excel spreadsheet with everything on there, where they're graded and whether they're concrete, asphalt, dirt, gravel.
I understand
they were-
the process, and I understand the group that met and drove the roads and graded the roads, and my question is, we voted to spend $500,000 on roads and do new asphalt or whatever process, and here we are now in May, and we've not redone one single road, and why not?
We are in the process of putting together specs to be able to put that out for bid, because it has to go through a competitive procurement process. I had asked Mr. Brunson to go ahead and get core samples from all 4 of those roads, so that the contractors, when they bid on it, know what they're gonna be getting into, so that those core samples are being done here very soon.
Well, let's lay down the table. If you want to spend $100,000 or $150,000 and get engineering to do everything that I'm not, then we can go out on have the engineers put that together and go out for a bid, but we're doing it in-house, trying to.
Okay,
And that's why.
I'm not looking for objections, I'm just looking for answers, because you heard we got challenged on what we're doing or not doing tonight, right? So I'm looking for answers.
We're trying to maximize the dollars that we have.
Again, there are lots of other things going on, but we are trying to push this forward.
And you asked what are the 4 streets?
I'm sorry?
Did you ask what the 4 streets were?
Yeah, the 4 streets that we've,
There's Houston, Rockdale Road.
Houston, San Gabriel, and again, those were brought to the council.
Right.
To the council members to.
So just as a reminder, it's Houston, San Gabriel, Rockdale Road, and
West Belton.
West Belton.
So what was the thing with Redbud?
And Redbud is actually number 1 on the list.
I thought we already said do that one.
Yeah, we said do that one.
Redbud is going to be a little bit different because it's all concrete, and so
Rebar in it.
it is. We're not doing core samples on that because we already. And right after that was approved, Public Works went up and actually cut about a 20-foot section of that road to investigate what was underneath. There is no rebar, and there are some roots that we'll be dealing with, but so.
I may be interjecting. In response to Redbud, are we taking the tree out in the middle of the road before we do that? Because that's.
It's really it needs to. But there's no work actually being done on that right this minute. So once we decide what we're gonna do it, because that road alone is probably gonna cost us $400,000.
no doubt.
One road.
You going back with asphalt? I mean, back with concrete? What's the plan there?
The plan is to cut the curb, if we can salvage the curb and gutter, and then come back with asphalt in the middle. We'll redo the base underneath that center section, and it would be an asphalt road.
And that's what's been my issue, and I'll take full responsibility for that, because, we've talked about mill and overlay, and just but when we talk about mill and overlay, we don't know what's there. That's why we're gonna core. And we had an engineering company come in just to give us a scope, and then they came back last week with the opinion of probable cost and the cheapest of the 4 streets that we had was $320,000 for one street. And so.
That was with you doing the coring?
I don't want to go out there and say, let's mill it over like that, and a year from now, that road's bad.
That was with us doing the coring?
I'm sorry?
That was with us doing the coring?
No, the coring had not yet been completed.
Oh, okay.
You lose about 30%. If you have a grant, you lose 30% for engineering or something.
I mean, it's, we're working on it, and I'm hoping to get something done.
Okay, thank you.
I know through planning and zoning, we looked at all the streets, and then I guess it's kind of a group question with you and Ben. Are the estimates we're getting, Ben, or if you know, are they close to what we kind of looked at planning and zoning?
They're close, but the probable cost estimate exceeds it by about at least 30%. I mean, it came in high.
And the engineer admitted that he was being very, very conservative.
Right.
In that, so we won't really know until we go out for bid.
Okay.
And we'll bid it, probably with the highest 2 streets, and then the other 2 as alternates.
Okay.
So we'll be able to.
What is the closest capability that we have to do something similar to this nature? If not exactly what there's in-house? And how much would it save us if we did this in-house?
In the past, which is, mill ourselves with our unit and dig up 4 inches and put concrete in it and then stabilize it and then go back in with the, chip seal over the top of it. Or if we wanted to go spend the money, we could put, coal mix on top of it, but that's 3 times the cost or 2 times the cost. I don't have the exact number right here, but it's more expensive than just the chip seal, which is a relatively inexpensive way, and it's what we did on, O'Kelly last year. We had to go back and, doing an overlay on it.
And they did a really good. What was the street that y'all talk about right next to the stadium? Ramsey, which was fantastic, but it was only about what?
About 2 blocks.
It was a very short section, and they spent a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
That's when we first got the unit and we did it, and it's still in really good shape. But of course, the cost of asphalt has gone up tremendously over the last.
And we could do that. I just was concerned about the actual ability, time-wise, for our staff to make that commitment for that large of a project. Because instead of 2 blocks here, we're talking about 16, 18 blocks. So they could spend, 3 or 4 months, and that's all they would be doing.
One of the things that we have been doing, Mr. Bonnet, the Assistant Public Works Director, has been working with Lewis at the streets, and we've been doing a better job of street cutting and squaring off and patching bad spots in the road. So that's you'll see that. So I had a couple of pictures of that too. I didn't include those. But we are working to do a better job of just patching what we do.
I'll agree with that because I've seen a lot of it and driven over it.
I talked to Tim about this. Would you, in the morning, please get with Lopez Construction and have them fix that where they cross-cut in front of the football field on Murray Street?
Yes, sir.
It is atrocious. They halfway patched it, and it's vehicle damaging.
I'm fairly certain it was a temporary fix.
I have observed lots and lots of utility work going on around, and the job that they put back when they cut up a street is crap. And then they get their check and they bounce out of town, and we have to deal with this forever and ever and ever. How are we holding people accountable or not holding people accountable for when Lone Star Gas digs up our street? Anybody. The city of Rockdale digs up our street. How are we ensuring that it gets put back properly? Because the area that Miss Matula was talking about was dug up, right in front of it, was dug up by Lone Star Gas and just half-ass put back together. And how do we hold people accountable for not doing that, not allowing them to do that?
Well,
That's a question I don't have an answer for.
we can work on that, definitely, because of the fact that they have to get permits for the work that they are, whenever they cut the streets, correct? No?
Like Next Lake, they're a statewide utility.
So we don't necessarily know when they are. coming in to cut our streets. I thought we,
But we have standards.
It's a problem.
Ask them to meet sometimes.
Gerald, what else do you,
Our streets are standardized and
what else
Yeah,
do you
say
have to
it.
report on?
Yes, sir.
What else do you have to report on,
The
sir?
wastewater treatment plant.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry if I seemed offensive.
You're okay, Gerald.
The wastewater treatment plant is a little over $8 million project that we started. We're gonna be putting in, or we already put in a equalization basin. We built a new sludge digester, and that's the equalization basin. You can go up to the next picture. And that's from the beginning, when we just put the bases down, and we go to the next one. And it's come a long way in the last few months. Go ahead. And if you see something that you want to have a question about, be sure and just ask me or stop me. But there's when we poured the base for that basin. Okay. And the purpose of that is to, like last night, we had 4.1 inches of rain, and Tim asked about the I&I. We normally run about 360,000 gallons a day. We jumped up to about just under 750,000 gallons in a few hours. And so whenever we have this equalization basin, we can move part of that flow over to the equalization basin and bring it in over the course of the next 24, 48 hours so that we maintain our consistent flow. That flow last night caused our ammonia to go up, not out of tolerance or specification, but by having that EQ basin, we can more easily put that flow back into the system.
how many gallons does that hold, do you know?
That's right, just under 300,000.
Okay.
And that's the location of the new digester. We have a circular digester now that used to be a clarifier, and that'll be taken out. And this is, you can see at the bottom of that where we get lignite.
Carol, did you say you jumped up after a rain event significantly? How does that happen in a sanitary sewer system versus, how is that much water getting into our sanitary?
Well, infiltration inflow happens because of both surface water getting into the system and groundwater, and it's normal. It happens in the lateral pipes. The pipes are not perfectly sealed, and so as groundwater rises, it infiltrates. And typically, your groundwater's, your I&I numbers are going to be, if they're 25% of your flow, that's really good. I've seen them as high as 500%, whereas flows have increased. If you're a million gallons, it jumps up to 5 million gallons during infiltration, and it comes in through manholes, through various ways. I mean, I've actually seen somebody open a manhole in their parking lot and allow it to drain their parking lot, which is illegal, but it happens.
And there are multiple reasons, like I said, I&I, and then also in some of the older towns. I haven't found any here where the sanitary sewer is also connected to storm drains, but I don't think that's the case here. Right before I came, the city did some really good work to close up some manholes down 487 going out of town, and with the rain last night, 6 years ago, we would have seen over 2 million gallons come into the wastewater plant. Last night we saw about 400,000. So, but you know, piping that doesn't have good seals in it anymore, old clay pipe that's letting water in. So there's all kinds of reasons, but really, Rockdale doesn't have a huge problem with that. Okay. So anyway, then a lot of the same type of pictures for the digester, but you can see that's going to be a dual unit there, and go ahead and go through there.
And you don't really, in those pictures, you don't really get the scale. They are, what, 30 feet tall?
Oh yeah.
They're huge additions.
We're also putting on the far side, you say we're putting on jib cranes to be able to pull the big pumps out of our lift station there. And then the latter part of the project is gonna be putting a brand-new electrical system and control system in there that's currently obsolete, that was put in 2008, so it'll be a state-of-the-art operator interface and control system.
And UV treatment?
I'm sorry?
And UV treatment?
A brand new UV, we're replacing it, it's not much different, but it'll be a state-of-the-art, brand new UV treatment. That's the jib crans that are gonna go up beside the wet well. And a pumping station for our polymer. For now, it'll be with our dewatering boxes, but eventually it'll be on the screw conveyors that we have.
If you haven't had a chance, I would really encourage y'all to schedule a time for Gerald to give you a tour of that plant. It's actually really interesting to see how that process works.
Gerald, thank you.
Thank you, Gerald.
Hey, I wasn't pushing your buttons a while ago. I just need answers for our citizens.
Good job, Gerald.
I am,
We appreciate you.
I'm going to not allow, but let Councilmember Olivares leave the meeting. She has to attend a FFA banquet for her son, so
He's vice president right now, but he's up for election.
she will
so
no
we're gonna announce it
longer
tonight.
be.
I'm a mom. I still have kids.
Thank you, Esme.
Thank you. Sorry, guys.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Council, you've had an opportunity to review the items on the consent agenda. Is there anything you'd like to take out of the consent agenda?
Mayor, I have a concern that even though it's a city function, number 9 is considering taking necessary action on the request made by the Homecoming Association for funding of hotel occupancy tax. I think anything that's funded through hotel occupancy tax should be done just as it is for anybody else that comes and asks for it,
Okay,
just for transparency.
so you want to make a motion to move that down to the regular agenda?
Yes, sir.
He doesn't need to make a motion, he can just ask it.
Okay, we'll move that down to the regular agenda. Anything else on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, understanding that item 9 will be moved down to the regular agenda. Is there any discussion? Is there a second? Sorry.
Second.
A motion is second on the floor. Is there any discussion? All in favor of said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Moving down to the regular agenda, which the first thing on the regular agenda now will be consider and take any necessary action on a request submitted by the Homecoming Association for funding reimbursement from the hotel occupancy tax for the event on June 14, 2026. Tim?
Yes, thank
We do
you.
have a representative here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. She is here.
2.
So the Homecoming Association has requested funds again from their hot fund for the homecoming event that's scheduled for Sunday, June 14th at the Knights of Columbus Hall. They're asking for $1,200 from the hot fund. They actually were able to get $2,000 last year, but they did that in collaboration with the 1975 Reunion Committee. This year, they're just coming in by themselves. So they're asking for that $1,200. They estimate 10 overnight 10 overnight hotel stays, which comes to about $120 per overnight stay, which is about typical what we've been awarding in the past. So with that being the case, I do recommend approval of this event. And if you want,
I'll make a motion that we approve the event. I didn't have a problem with it at all. Just want to make sure it's transparent when we're dealing out money, where it's going.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? All in favor of said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. I have to say, I went and spoke at our homecoming event last year, and it was a wonderful event. That group does a great job.
Huge success.
I didn't realize it's almost 100 years old, 90.
Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of the state this year. They are recognizing the Parsley family, which I'm a little partial to the Parsley family, being married to a Parsley, a phenomenal family from here in Rockdale. And, but Lee and some of our daughters, I think Cassie, our daughter Cassie will be there, and Courtney hopefully will be there to speak on behalf of our family. But thank you for choosing to recognize the Parsley family. Wonderful people. Everybody knows that. But thank you, and I apologize for not being able to be present. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Debbie, thank you for making the request. I'm glad we were able to get that passed.
Kira, would you like to speak before we start with item 10? I'll just read agenda item number 10, consider and take any necessary action on a grant request submitted by the K Theater Foundation for funding from the Hotel Motel Occupancy Tax Fund for the renovations to the historic building, the K Theater, obviously, and sign improvements.
Good evening, council members. I am here tonight as the new president of the K Theater Foundation to present our top fund request. Kind of a connection to Melton's presentation he made earlier. The K Theater is a restored historic theater which has been a vital part of downtown restoration since the early 2000s. The K Theater is repurposed at World War II Quonset hut and has a long history in Rockdale, serving as a movie theater from 1947 until 1963. Sitting vacant for 40 years, the K had fallen into a blighted condition as a part of downtown when the K Theater Foundation formed in 2004 for the purpose of restoring the K. Restoration was completed in 2010 and the K reopened to the community. One thing that's important for everyone to know is that there were once hundreds of repurposed World War II Quonset hut movie theaters across the nation. Today, the K is just one of 10 in the entire nation that still operates as a movie theater. And as a nonprofit theater, the K hosts movies, live music, and theatrical productions. We also are a community center at which organizations such as the MARC, CASA, and Milam County Historical Commission, and many others have held events and meetings. We actually, once a month, are hosting a morning screening for the MARC Center on a Friday morning, the second Friday of the month. The historic venue also provides space for private rentals such as community dances, birthday parties, wedding showers, weddings, and celebrations of life. Unfortunately, the latest one hit a little bit too close to home. So while we lost our various champion this January, the foundation did not lose our heart or our direction. We pulled together our ranks in friendship, and we emerged in February with renewed dedication to continue to bring the arts and entertainment to our community, and resolved to accomplish the capital improvement projects that we have been working towards the last several years. Since February, we have returned to showing movies at least twice per month. We held a special fundraising Eagles concert screening. We brought a theatrical production to the K's stage. We launched a game night. And later this month, we will host a quilting event. We have more exciting plans. We actually have just launched movie parties, either private or community movie parties. And we are also planning a country dance this summer. In order to secure the funding for our historic preservation and capital improvements, the Case initiated a membership program. We've sought donors and we have secured grants. The membership program will also provide sustaining revenue for the organization's operations and programming. Today I present to you the K Theater Foundation's hot funds request to help us bridge the funding gap, which will allow us to repair the compromised rotunda facade roof, that would be the curved flat part, and the damaged stucco. We have some really serious cracks in the stucco. Some of it is the upper part that most people can't see from street level. For this request, under historic preservation, where Tim was suggesting $9,650, this represents 46% of the $20,900 for the facade work. The K has also long needed a marquee sign in order to better inform citizens and visitors of upcoming events at the K. I am constantly surprised and disappointed that when I go around and talk to people, or talk to people in the community, that they still say they do And we can also promote other events occurring in town to further tourism. We will be meeting with code enforcement to work through the specifications and any variances we must secure from zoning and planning. And for this aspect of our capital improvement, Tim has indicated that he is recommending $6,350 in the promotion of the arts category, and this also represents 46% of the $13,600 for the LED marquee sign. Also, I have met with Riot, and Riot is going to be providing in-kind installation of the sign. While we are agreeable to a reimbursement scenario, we would ask that we be allowed to be reimbursed in draws as we complete each step of our facade project. We will first do the roof repair, and then we will have that has to be stuccoed as well as repairing the cracks. And then we will be repainting the entire exterior, including all of the red doors and the trim, the lettering, everything. Allowing us to do draws as we finish each section of the project will allow us to maintain funds in our account for operations and programming expenses. Because if we have to pay for all of it upfront and wait to get reimbursed at the very end, then we will have all of our money that we have. The K Theater thanks you for your support in helping us achieve our mission to provide arts and entertainment to our community and to help accomplish our bigger picture of historic preservation and capital improvement projects.
Thank you, Kira. Tim, I'm reading where you recommend
I am,
reimbursement grant up to 16,000.
yeah, so I am recommending $16,000 in funding, which is what they request. This is not a typical hot fund grant request that's normally tied to an event, but the K Theater definitely generates tourism and heads in beds, and I think it qualifies in that regard. We have funding outside of our event grant budget line item. We have funding for arts funding and historic funding, and so I'm proposing to break those up based on the sign being from the historic funding and the the facade and building work would be from the historic preservation, and then the other one would be from the arts funding line item of the budget, which we have plenty of money available from both of those. And I did let Kira know if the council approves this, I will work with her to do as many draws as they need to make sure that their cash flow works out. And I mentioned in here that there was a caveat because it might require the sign, the LED digital sign might require a variance. I went over the standards with Ben, and it's pretty close, so I think that there might be some adjustments to the sign design that would not require a variance.
Okay. Council, any questions?
I do.
Go ahead.
Does the MDD get into this anywhere with their grant programs?
We're gonna talk about it at our next board meeting.
Okay.
That's not.
But I would
think it's
You talk about the facade, I know that, but
Yeah.
like, there's other programs too, I'm sure y'all are working with on that.
I would point out that this total project was $34,505. They've actually already found $18,000 in grant funding from other sources for this project.
So I know, thank you for everything you do for the community. I know from the Mark Board, they love that. They love going there. I know the schools love the movies at Christmas, so thank you for that.
Yeah, we actually received an $80,000 grant from Texas Historical Foundation, and we have $2,500 that's been outstanding from the Milam County Historical Commission, and the rest of the funds were unrestricted donations and event revenue.
All right, council, I'll entertain action on this item.
I just want to say, despite how much I support this, I will abstain from this. My company's name is included in this.
Okay, fair enough.
will abstain from
Understand. Councilmember Starnes is abstaining.
I'll make a motion that we approve or we accept staff's recommendation to fund the K Theater for both the facade and the sign.
Have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? All in favor of said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 11, Consider and take any necessary action on a variance request submitted by Sonny and Gracie Lillard to allow a 3-foot setback at the rear property line at 2103 Yoakley Avenue in Rockdale, Texas. Ben? Hello, Ben.
I asked them to be in attendance, but I'll give the presentation on their behalf. I met with their contractor last week, Tommy Doss. They're gonna do an accessory building in their back of the property at 2103 Yoakley. And in that conversation, I told them that there's a 5-foot rear setback, and they do not wanna meet that, because they say other buildings in that area are closer to 5 feet. And so they'd like to instead meet a 3-foot setback, so they're asking for a variance of 2 feet tonight. Staff's recommendation is the same on these type of variance requests. It's a self-created hardship. State law says you should not approve that. You do have the ultimate authority to approve that if you choose to. My recommendation is not.
I got a I need a history lesson here, or not history, I need an education here on this. So, is there property line, the power lines that run through, you know, I'm gonna start at O'Kelly, Yoakley, Sager, all those are ones back there, because that's the neighborhood I grew up in, I live right there. Is the alleyway an easement that's on people's properties, or is it its own property in itself?
It depends, and those are, they're different over there. I might actually have to look at the plat map to give you an accurate answer, because I've seen them both ways. I've seen it where it's actually an alley, so you have the power lines, and then you have the property lines that are adjacent. And I've also seen them do it where they dedicate 5 foot on the back of their property for an alley.
So on this particular one here, is it to the middle of, is the alley its own?
Area that it's alley and then property line.
It's a platted right-of-way.
Okay, I'm gonna ask another question, because I'm gonna go back in time. When I was a kid, I ran every alley there was no fences in those alleyways. And I move off and come back, and everybody's put fences in those alleyways.
Built into the alley.
And I'm just curious, if a storm comes through like last night, and they gotta get in there, they just drive through people's fences, and then people get mad and come and talk? I mean, how does that work?
So the way that that would work, the fences aren't supposed to be there, is the first answer to that question.
Say that again?
The fences are not
Or not supposed to be, okay.
Do they get, so,
Now, what's been told to people that put fences to those, is they will come down, and then they're put back up in the same condition on their property line.
so like, okay,
So if a storm ever happened and everything just fell through all those fences, and we gotta go back up there and clear up all the limbs, you would put that fence back, but on their property line.
we would, or they
Who
would?
would? The utility company?
Whoever needs to get back to the alley that takes that fence down, puts it back up.
So Encore.
Even though it's in the easement?
They would put it in the property line.
I think they're gonna take it with a dozer.
Okay.
Well, I'm just curious like of that, and a lot of that's probably before your time. Is that not part of their permits when they're building a fence, and that it's on the,
So today, they would not be, they wouldn't receive a permit to build a fence in the right.
it just kind of happened 20, 30 years ago, and they just kept?
Yes.
I'm being honest, that's when I
It didn't
moved
do the
back, and I was
20.
like,
Never will
whoa,
happen
I didn't
on
know
Ben's
people
watch,
did
I
that.
promise you.
So I just,
So Ben, if this, hypothetically speaking, if this was, if council approved this, would we be setting any precedents? Okay. And as you were speaking, I was watching our city attorney back there shaking her head. When you said you recommended we don't approve it, she was shaking her head, agreeing with you.
That's you, Barbara.
So, I guess if you go one street over and they did allow them, somehow they got their fences built all the way to underneath the power line. That's a 5 foot, so do they have where is their setback? If you go to Sager Street, where there used to be an alley and there's no longer an alley because everybody built all the way to each other, where is their setback? If I want to put a building in there, where is my true setback? Is it from the fence now, or is it from?
property line. No.
Yeah.
Not on your property. Just if I have a neighbor and I buy a house and I install a fence on their property, it doesn't mean that's where my setback is. My setback's actually on my property line. My neighbor just doesn't know my fence is on their property line. That's how you get into the issue.
Right.
of You sell a property and it's like, hey, by the way, your building's kind of on my lot by 2 foot. What do you want to do about that? It follows fence lines a lot of the time if people install their fences incorrectly.
And so this one here, they're wanting to do 3 foot off the property line or underneath the power line?
Their request
Property.
would be off the property line. That would be, if this were granted tonight, that would be something that has to be ensured that they're aware of, that they know where their property line is, and then they would measure that 3 foot.
That neighborhood should have pins, unlike some of the other neighborhoods. That's young enough neighborhood to have pins and rods.
Took most of them rods out when I was a
And
kid.
just out of curiosity,
Pop their go-kart tires. Trip on them running through there.
Okay, council.
Now,
any,
I have a question.
Any other questions?
I
for
do.
Ben?
Out of curiosity, and it's, you don't have to tell, you're talking about 2 feet. You're talking about 24 inches. What's the big,
For them, it's their sprinkler system. They gotta redo all their sprinkler system
okay, is that what it is?
to get around it,
Okay.
is what I was told.
I'm just curious to know what
I haven't
24
seen
inches
it
does.
myself, but
So Ben, not that this is, I mean, but is he right about the other buildings?
I haven't noted about that.
Okay.
yes.
This was so
Yes.
fresh last week, I said, you gotta get this in a couple hours, I can't get this on the agenda. That's how.
And the other thing is in regard to the neighbors, like I said earlier, those may have been done
Right.
30 years ago.
Right.
Before we had regulations. And so, we have to, when Ben is looking at it, he's looking at it from the regulations today. Not necessarily from what's around it, but.
This is not something you have to send letters out to affected neighbors?
Yeah, you're in
O'clock in the morning.
I mean, you know, as far as
bulldozing
where
your
the
shit.
concern goes, the city's just historically left that alone. We haven't had any complaints from any neighbors about that, and we haven't had complaints from anyone trying to get those houses. If we're going to be a discussion with Tim on how we want to handle that, I'm sure we can notify everyone of the issue at hand, and how we want to move forward if it came to that.
That's my question. If we've historically left it alone, at what point are we gonna pick up on?
Well, I mean, typically with issues like that, and correct me if I'm wrong, usually what you do is, it's happened historically that way, you wouldn't allow it to continue to happen. So if someone came in, vacant lot develops, they're not putting their fence in that alley anymore, they're gonna put that on that property line, and then you deal with it if an issue comes up, that's not a mess you really wanna poke if it's not bothering anybody.
And if it's ever torn down and they want to come in later on and replace it, they would have to comply with the regulations.
That's my next question gonna be, so like these fences don't last forever, and so when they go to do it again,
There is,
you say no.
and I will tell you this, so I had one individual that they actually had their fence built in the right of way. And we required, if they replaced, I think it was more than 20% or a certain percentage of the fence, or repaired a certain, more than they needed a permit for that. And they couldn't get a permit for it, and so they ended up repairing like 10 feet at a time.
That's sunny.
All right. Council, any other questions for Ben? And Ben, what was staff's recommendation?
Denied.
Okay. I thought that's what you said. Barbara, would you like to give any input on this? No? Okay.
I'm in agreement with his recommendation.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make them,
No, it doesn't.
Go ahead.
they're not gonna like me in the morning, but oh well. I'm gonna make a motion that we, take staff's recommendation on not awarding the variance request to Sonny and Grace Hill Lillard for the setback.
You might not like me either, but I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor said motion signify by raise your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 12. Consider take any necessary action on a change order number 5 for the TDA sidewalk improvement project. Hello, Gerald.
It's just housekeeping, the final bit at that corner that we showed you where we put the yellow marking and put the new parking in there. We had to make some adjustments to that, and this is the final change order for that project to close it out.
You need a motion to approve that change order?
I
Okay.
got a quick question about it beforehand, and, I'm looking at my notes here, and this is the sidewalk that's on Main Street, right?
Now, this is sidewalk that's on, oh, it's on Milam and on Bell.
Bell. It runs parallel,
where-
it crosses Main Street.
The K Theater,
So this is the
Runs
sidewalk
Rockdale,
that,
okay.
1895.
Is this the one that has the
Phillips Monkey
stain,
used
the
to do.
stain red on it?
No.
Stained concrete?
between your property and the tap house.
They didn't do any on Main Street.
So the project on Main Street is actually a tech stop project
Not
that's.
the same company.
Is a different contract.
Offering of Coronas and all that, that's a whole different company.
They've stopped that.
Not a problem, okay.
Different company.
Different argument.
In front of your Reynolds, Texas.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, never mind.
He didn't get that, did he?
I'll talk to you about it later.
And this project is pretty much completed.
Stuff to talk about.
Yeah, where you had a tenant living,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you were illegally renting.
Council, any other questions for Gerald on this item? Consider action on this.
I'll make a motion, we approve change order number 5 for the amount of $2,771.
Second.
Motion is second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Being none, we'll vote. All in favor said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 13. Mr. Lockoff, do you want to speak before we have discussion on this, sir?
I better. Y'all might run me off afterwards.
Heck, we might anyway.
Oh, is this 13?
Council, thank you very much. It's not funny, attorney. It's really that.
Hello, Steve.
Hi, buddy. Mayor, council, I'm gonna speak as a board member and not for the board. Okay? Because I am a board member. This issue with this MOU goes way back, further than a lot of you. The board feels, based upon my interpretation, that there have been several MOUs that have been written, signed, conducted, and not lived up to. Their words, not mine. Okay? There is a stone in their shoe on that piece of property that was mistakenly built on, and they felt like was part of the original agreement, but when they gave it back to the city, they didn't really feel like it was right that somebody that was sold was built on. Okay? The MOU has written, I've had a chance to read, and there's one particular issue that is gonna cause a large contingent of the board not to want to sign. I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to put this behind us. I think Councilmember Woodley would agree with me.
I do.
A big part of the board wants this to go away. But it's not gonna go away with the language that's in there about you hold us harmless for the mistake that was made when the property was sold. And apparently, outside counsel has been, looked into over this, and they said, I quote, it would be a mistake to sign this MOU. I feel like it's dead on arrival if that's still in there. Now, I would propose, and this is a board member talking for himself, not the board. Make sure I understand that correctly. But it would be nice if we could have a committee of 3 council members and 3 fair association members to sit down and get this behind us, okay? The current president is going to be an outgoing president. There's still people that are on the board or active on the board that have expressed to me, and they've given me a history of what has transpired between the city and the fair association. Me, I don't really, it doesn't really bother. Look, we raise a lot of interest in Rockdale for 6 days out of the year. And then the other 300 and some odd days, it just sits there. The inside the fence, we rent that out. We're working on a deal with this 250th anniversary, along with the city, to host the fireworks show and all that there. Okay? I just want this behind us so that all this energy and effort and exasperation on both parties goes away and we can focus on something a little bit more forward thinking. insight based upon what I know. The MOU, as you have it today, with that hold harmless agreement in there, is dead on arrival. And I would love to find a way to not, look, and I know you throwing up your hands, don't throw them up at me. I'm just trying to fix a problem. There's some history there that I wasn't around for, that both sides feel like that they've been wrong. And I'm trying to find a way so everybody feels like we're right for the city of Rockdale. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Now, I agree with you said, and I'm not gonna say hostile, I didn't realize how upset a lot of people were, and I feel like there is something that happened a long time ago.
Right.
We have not been on this board, it's not an excuse, but we don't know.
I know.
But let me ask you this, because I think I know where you're going with this. And that lot that we're talking about, so would it be if they're reimbursed for it? I mean, how else can we do it?
Look, I think that the proposal that I've read with returning the 2 lots and then the skate park.
Go to the voters and get it back?
To the voters to give that back. We're not talking about expansion of the park around the fence. What we're really worried about is parking.
Right.
Sure.
No, we've understood, yeah.
Yes, I get that.
1000%.
We need a better plan for parking.
And you need better control of parking.
Absolutely.
Look, I'm just telling you right now, I have a little background in law enforcement. Somehow last year I got called on the radio to go fix a problem that was unfixable. And there was a little child involved, and there was no egress out of the park. Had that been an emergency, I don't know what we would have done.
Sure.
But we've got to come to an agreement, a solution, a partnership to resolve that issue before it becomes, because everybody's going to get sued eventually if something bad happens.
Is the hold harmless in relation to that one piece of property?
Based upon what I've been told, and I say that hold harmless on that one piece, meaning that the Fair Association, nor do I believe they would, because I think the deal that you presented with the 2 lots and the skate park going on the ballot is a fair and equitable thing in a best case scenario and a worst case situation. You can't go back and take that property from the gentleman that his home was on it, okay? That was a mistake before any of us got it, okay? And the fair board needs to realize that's a fact, too, okay? And there's some of us that are working toward that goal. But I just want this done. We got fair coming up. That's a big deal for the citizens of Rockdale. It's a big deal for me personally. You don't know what I do for a living. I'm sure you do.
Steve, let me ask you this. When we first started meeting with probably 8 or 10 members of the fair board on this issue, myself,
Not me.
you were there.
How long ago was that, Mayor?
Oh, it's probably
10 months ago?
10 months ago. We sat in that room. And I looked at every fair board member and I said, I personally apologize for us taking that lot and building that home. That was a mistake. We did not know the situation because we didn't know that there was an agreement, or we wouldn't have done that. We would have selected another lot. But that's over and done with, right? We're not going to take a person's home. And I'm not saying anybody wants to do that. I know no one on that fair board wants to take that family's home.
No.
I know that in my heart. And no one on this council and no one in this room would ever want to do that. And I know we can get to the finish line on this thing without it being so damn difficult. But it seems like we've gone from this to this, and we continue to be at this, and we've got this person involved from the outside and this person involved from the outside, and we don't have this group and that group working with each other now. We've got too many damn people involved from the outside. We need to get the groups that are making the decisions back together and try to get this resolved, and let's be done with it.
I'm going to second that, and I will go, and I'm going to second what Councilman Perry said. This could have all been figured out if we came together as a group of fair-minded individuals, maybe some different personalities, but and just worked it out.
Right.
And the Fair Board lawyered up, which in turn we have to lawyer up, which in turn takes all of us out of the conversation.
Well, I happen to know the former Fair Board lawyer who's no longer under retainer on this.
Understood.
We've had some conversations. I think we're to the point where we're not doing that approach anymore, but maybe a suggestion, Daniel, if you can.
I want to finish right quick. Sure. I also want to say this. There was a group that showed up at the last council meeting. I respect every last one of them. Mayors, council members. But this was lost between one administration to this administration. And this administration has everybody pointing a finger. Where's the accountability as to where it was actually lost? This man, this mayor, is no more responsible than that council member or that council member or that council member. It was lost in the process. And it doesn't matter. We can point fingers all day and still not have an answer. But to point the finger at any of this administration, in my opinion, it's not the right thing to do, because it was lost throughout a number of years. And speaking with a previous council member that's in my family and that understands a little bit, maybe a little more than I do, not sure. Nobody is to be blamed, and I felt like a lot of blame was placed on this administration when all we knew to do was what was at the best interest of the community. So how do we move forward from here? I'm not sure. But when the lawyers came into place, we as a city, we are left speech. We are muted. And the lack of response on our end is not out of us not wanting to figure this out, not find completion to this finality. It's just we're stuck at that point. I think it was a mistake to lawyer up. I'm going to go back and say it once again. I agree with Mr. Perry. We should have got together as a group of individuals, men, women, whatever it is, and figure this out, and we could have all worked this out. But here we are again, going over the same situation 10 months later, and I think we need to find some type of solution.
Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? The mistake that was made, honest mistake that was made, and now not wanting to sign something to say hold harmless for that mistake gives me a feeling that you don't want that in there because somebody's going to hold us on it.
Yeah.
And that's a perspective I have to look. I don't want to think that way, but the people that put me in this seat want me to think that way, need me to think that way, and so I don't understand.
I respect your opinion. Again, I'm not up here as representing the board. I'm up here representing a board member, which I am the newest board member. Rodeo. But I want to come to a solution more than y'all do, because I recognize the value of partnerships.
Absolutely.
I agree with that, and I think I'm a friend with every fair member board. Every board member on the fair board. I think I'm a friend with them. I hope I am.
Well, and I would say too, from your family, Lynn, Brad, everyone's families themselves have worked for the fair. You know, everyone up here has been a big supporter of the fair for a long time, several generations. So I do agree with your point that somewhere bringing this together.
3 and 3. We bring 3 fair board board members, one that's been there long, because, you know, the Fair Board has a longevity issue. And unfortunately, they're a lot like a tortoise. They remember things going back 30 years ago, okay, that have no real relevance in today's time, much like a surveyor who said it was one size and it's really this size. You know, you can interpret things all day long. It doesn't solve the problem of us getting beyond this.
Steve, when did you join the board?
2 years ago.
Okay,
Yes, sir. When I bought the radio station,
understood.
you know, because ranching and agriculture is kind of my background, and I'm on 5 rodeo association boards now.
Yes, sir.
And trust me, they all have similarities.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, it's just, I've never seen one that actually owned their own piece of land, for the most part, mostly is that, but if we could find a way, I would ask you tonight, that's the reason why I came here, is before you vote on this MOU, may we table it to go to that suggestion of 3 and 3, and let's see if we can't get this moved forward, so everybody's happy and done. Because I think what you're offering, the fair, is a fair and equitable solution. And I don't really understand why we would want to hold harmless thing. It doesn't matter. It's after the fact. In my world, the horse has left the barn. Don't worry about the gate. So that would be my suggestion. Thank you very much for your time.
Steve, thank you. I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate you listening to us, and I appreciate council listening to you.
Thanks, Steve.
I support the fair. I love the fair when it's going on. And I can only speak for myself, but I want to get to a resolution on this issue.
I don't know what has transpired since last meeting, other than this MOU being put out there. Have we gotten any feedback?
So, Mayor, if I can weigh in?
Yes, sir.
So following the last meeting, we had discussion in executive session. Barbara has prepared the MOU that you have before it, and it does a few things. It takes the 2 property. Originally, the Fair Association transferred 4 properties back in the 1990s to the city. One of those properties, the smallest of those 4 properties, was the Cortez property, which we don't own any longer. The remaining 3, 2 of them would be, under this MOU, would be transferred back to the Fair Association within 60 days. The third one, which is Skate Park, would be transferred back to them following an election. According to city attorney, we can't just, like the other 2, we can't just arbitrarily give that property away. It has to go to the election. And then the third part of that is in regard to that Cortez property, asking for a waiver. The MOU kind of reiterates what was discussed previously in regard to the relationship between the city and the Fair Association. It is identical, really, in regard to the Fair Association's ability to use the Patterson Center, and there's no guarantee that's going to be available forever, but it says that as long as the city owns it and it's available, they will be able to continue to use that at no cost for both parking and the use of the building for their events. And then it also allows the city to use the fair park for our events at no cost other than for water and electricity, which are the same terms that were in the previous MOU. So those are the different parts of this agreement. If they wanted us to strike paragraph 3, which is the acknowledgement of the waiver, I would recommend that you get input from the attorney in executive session on why she felt it's important to include that in there. I think y'all may know that anyways, but I don't know beyond this where we might go. But when this was sent out to the Fair Association probably at least 3 weeks ago. When was this? And I haven't gotten any direct feedback in regard to the MOU, or other than I heard from Steve that they're opposed to this language of 3. I haven't gotten any kind of alternate suggestion as far as, any ask that they might have of the city in regard to, of number 3. So one of the other issues that we have is that we have the 4th of July festival coming up, and we applied for the use of, we had to submit an application for the use of the Fair Association, the Fair Park, for our 250th anniversary of our country and the big fireworks festival that we're planning. That was submitted a couple weeks ago, and I have not gotten approval on that. So I don't know if they're holding that as leverage against the city. I don't know.
Surely not.
But I have also not received the application for their annual hot funds
I would
either.
hope not.
I've got 2 questions. One, to get my mind clear on something. Second's gonna be for Barbara. The first one, the Patterson Center, so I understand correctly what the parking, which doesn't matter to me either way. Is the parking just the Patterson Center and the concrete parking lot? Or is it also the grass field that goes south behind there as well?
So currently, they're able to use that entire property.
Right, that's what I'm getting. It is that whole block. Okay, I thought
It is the whole part, and that would be retained by the city.
Barbara, and I asked this a while back, and I just said it to him as well. I'm just curious, can we as a city just pay them money, or is that something you say, no, you can't, that's gotta be voted on by the citizens as well, if we want to just buy that one lot back, for that lot that they lost? Could we actually, can we just pay them, get appraisal and the terms on it?
In the MOU that we had, that was signed back in 2009, it basically said that if the city decided to sell one of the lots that they gave it to us, back in 2000 and in the 1990s, if the city decided to sell one of those lots, that we would give the Fair Association first right of refusal to buy those properties for us for the
I know, and I know they didn't get parking back. I know that. I understand
I
it's
don't
most
know
important, but I'm just curious, can we as a city just write a check, or is that something that has to go to the citizens to vote on as well?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it would. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
Okay.
I think your question is more, I don't think we're wanting to go there, but if that unbirds somebody's saddle, do we have that option?
I'm gonna say, is it legal? Yeah. Now, I just want to know, is it an option? Because I do believe that they, or at least the majority of them, believe that it was an honest mistake. It was, but we can't, I know they lost valuable parking, so we can't give them more parking, but at least it'd be, sorry, done, write a check, and be done with it. And then we're not talking about this again a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, next generation, next
Just
people
on the
coming.
one
It's
lot.
like, just on that one, yeah, I still give 100% to that one. It's like, what do we have to do to make this right? I mean, it's like, good Lord, how much time we're gonna spend on this?
Yeah, I agree.
I will say that you certainly can offer that, and with all due respect, and we do respect the closing side.
Yeah.
They feel, I've had a lot of conversations with various members of their side from one time or another, and they do seem to have a bit of a burr
Right.
that I don't know a check is real.
Well, I don't know what to do.
I would politely disagree. I think coming together and just saying, hey, here's something.
Can we table it and consider the 3 and 3?
Well, I'm not saying no. But
I wanna
let me ask you
say-
this, but if we do, then this kills it for however long. Maybe if we approve it, then they will come to their term. I'm not say senses, I'm not saying that, but like somebody may talk and say, yeah, let's just do this and be done with it also. But if we table it right now,
Oh, you're saying.
we have nothing to lose by approving this and him taking it to him and saying,
Oh, you're
y'all want to
saying-
do this or not?
So you're saying bring him a motion right
That's-
now to
I'm
get
just
the
saying-
property appraised and.
No, I'm saying about just what here, this right here, what's
Oh.
on tonight.
Oh.
And see if they want to go ahead and still do it. Because if we table it tonight, then it's over with right now. Do we come up with another MOU, correct?
No, I understood if we tabled it tonight and we had a three
that's fine.
fair board meeting and had a discussion, and if we came to an agreement in that meeting, it's done. That was my understanding. I could be wrong.
It would have to come back.
It's gotta go back to where
The way you want it to be. That's, the offer that came forward was 3 and 3. If that's what you want to accept, that's what you need to make the motion.
It didn't take much of a poker reader to say this one's going to die
So they
in
can,
there.
they can
So it's dead on
authorize
arrival.
3 members
So,
of the
okay.
council to make the final decision, whatever that decision is. But then it has to come back to the
But you
council.
could negotiate within the 3 and 3.
You dealt with these people longer than I have.
Why has it got to be these people?
Speaking as one board member.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
But you let on that this would be dead on arrival, though.
That's just my suggestion based upon what I've read and what I've been told. That's where it stands today, and I just brought you that as information, and do with it what you will. But I am not speaking for the board.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm feeling it. And get it done, but get it done.
But you see my point, I'm saying if we table this, and what if they did want to approve it at their next meeting? Then it's not there.
Look, everybody agrees with everything on this thing except for hold harmless. Not tonight, nor next week, nor 3 months from now, am I gonna give up the ability to protect ourselves
I agree.
Second.
for a mistake that was made. If y'all have a regime change at the Fair Association.
I agree.
And somebody wants to come back after us at a later date, I'm not getting on board with it. I'm not dragging Mr. Cortez into that. This is a fair deal. It doesn't look good for anybody, but this is the deal. And we have to stick to this deal. This is fair. It protects us. It protects y'all. It makes it as right as we can make it from a mistake that was made.
So are you saying that's the end of discussion on that deal? Or
I'm
the end of
saying that there
discussion on
has to
that
be
part?
something in here to protect us from getting sued for an honest mistake that was made.
Agree.
Under previous administrations.
Absolutely.
hold harmless.
I agree with that as a city, as a councilman, I agree with that.
If somebody thinks that we did it on purpose, then absolutely not. They're not gonna give away the hold harmless.
I agree.
What I'm asking though is in that discussion, if there would be any negotiation on any other part outside of the hold harmless.
If some money unburs somebody's saddle, then.
That's where I'm asking. I know.
Right, and I'm going to second that because Councilman Willie, with all due respect, and I appreciate all that you do,
Correct.
but you have recused yourself, and you are fighting extremely hard for a situation that I'm not sure you were here at the beginning of the negotiations. Now that you're brought into the middle, but you still represent the Fair Board, I'm not sure it's okay that your voice,
I understand that.
and that's just my opinion.
I agree. I'm representing the city, but I represent that the city somehow should try to work this out. I think that's fair for
I'm
me to say.
okay adding money to it if that makes some money, but
I agree.
Lynn Perry will never vote. You can put this on there, that we give away our rights to
I will
protect ourselves.
second that right now.
I can't. That's not fair to the citizens.
You're putting yourself, you're subject to a mistake that was made through previous administration, that this council would now pay for today and the city would pay for today. And I'm not gonna vote for that either.
So what I'm hearing, council, is that you may want to take action on this as it's written tonight, and then you may want to enter into further discussions with the Fair Board to see if we can come to resolution. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's my motion.
Okay. So, Council, Mayor Pro Tem Perry, would you like to put that in form of a motion?
I make a motion that we move forward with the MOU as it is presented and reserve the right to have a negotiation with the Fair Association for some potential other compensation.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Willie, you will be recusing yourself from this vote?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Being none, we'll vote. All in favor of said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Steve.
Moving on to agenda item 14. Tommy, would you like to, are you still awake over there, buddy?
Y'all ready for the fair?
You didn't know we could get that energetic, did you?
Y'all came to a good one.
That's why we have Chief Metters here. Y'all want to speak before the item, or? Go ahead.
Just want to be able to expand the storage, the mini storages that are currently on 121 North Travis. We want to put them, take the house down that's there and expand all the way across the L.
So let me get to this side.
So this was here last month.
Y'all have already cleared out that one. Yeah.
And
Okay. You talking about the house on the west of it?
Tabled it.
Okay.
Is this the house that'll be between what y'all cleared out and Brookshire's? Is that the house, that direction?
The house right next to the one that y'all already tore down.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So-
On the west side, yeah, yeah.
Is it a yellow house? Is it the yellow house? Red house.
I got one restaurant.
White rock on it or something.
He's in charge. I gotta.
So, I was the one that tabled this last month. I think I'm speaking for the council. Our concern was the entrance coming off of 79 as you top the hill. Could we figure out a creative way to not have the entrance coming off of that? That was one of the reasons we moved Cortez out of that house to begin with, was something happening as you come over the hill past Brookshire Brothers. Is that's,
I don't feel like it's an issue because everyone comes in and out of Brookshire Brothers safely.
so,
With a trailer.
It's at the bottom of the hill, kind of.
it's after you crest the hill and people coming out of a storage facility are gonna have a trailer, not have a trailer, trying to cross the road there. I'm concerned about the safety hazard that creates.
Already have it thought out, was the way that was an entrance, the exit's on Travis. There's no exit there.
So,
There's no exit at all. I don't even make it where the gate will even open. There's only one way to open it, and that's going in, you exit on Travis.
so, okay, I did not understand that. So, off of 79, you can only go in. Everything else comes out the gate you already currently have on Travis.
And that's the reason why I did that, because the traffic, I've seen traffic backed up all the way to, Old Walmart, Tractor Supply, even past there.
Was there, Ben, you're young, you got a better memory than I do. Was there anything else that, last week, or last month, excuse me, that was an issue for us that you remember?
That was the one.
Besides Susie missing the meeting?
I did point out to council that the specific use permit as it's set up for this is for a reason, to kind of limit and control certain types of development along, and primarily, this is along Cameron Avenue, which is our main thoroughfare. Generally, self-storage units are not necessarily as attractive and don't generate as much ad valorem or sales tax revenue. And, you know, so you want to kind of limit that type of development. It's a limited resource. Developable land along Cameron is kind of a limited resource. We acquired that Cortez property through that land swap partly with the idea of combining it with surrounding property to develop a nice size retail pad site. And so this kind of takes away that option on the west side of that property, and leaves, the Cortez property by itself is pretty undevelopable overall. I know this gentleman had indicated a desire potentially to acquire that property to add to this particular development. I would just be cautious of, I know that their current development on Travis looks fantastic, and is something that they take a lot of pride in.
Yeah.
But you don't know what's gonna look like 10 years from now or 20 years from now,
Don't look the same.
so.
With all the setbacks, you don't have much property there, even if you do get it, it's buried property.
Is the vegetation, I lose that already.
The trees that was in there, about how many trees?
Yeah, that's up to par with you guys?
I saw it. Well, Ben,
I'm asking Ben, I looked at you, but I asked.
12 additional trees and 24 shrubs. 12 and 24.
Since you look this way, we couldn't deny it. There was no reason we could deny it. Y'all have aesthetics and taxing, y'all have more leeway with what we did. There was nothing there that didn't meet standards.
How many feet of 79 frontage is that? 76. The new property, where the house is 76 feet of. To the Cortez.
Yeah, and then I think the Cortez is 44 foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's got the good handwriting?
That's the same thing.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
I saw that last time.
So what's the recommendation?
So what would you do with the Cortez?
They didn't make one.
Entrance only?
Yeah. So, can I make Barbara, Ben, if I make a motion, because I want it to be very clear that if it's an entrance only, which I don't have any doubt, as long as the Pounders own this property, who knows what tomorrow brings, is that, and if they need to sell it or decide to sell it, that it always remains just an entrance. How do we do that?
They would have to put it in their deed.
Is that something that can be done?
That's the whole thing anyway, so can you can put that in there.
You would have to put it in your deed restrictions.
Do y'all have objection to that? Because like I said, I don't have a problem with y'all have it, but y'all aren't here forever. I don't know how you're still here today. I don't know how you're still here today. How the guy behind you hasn't taken you out, but yeah. All right. I'll make a motion that we accept, this, it's not even a, give me just a second here. I make a motion that we recommend the conditional use permit, and that part of the agreement is that in the deed restrictions, that the entrance, that the
Cameron Street
always remains an entrance only, and everything else has to come out of Travis.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion?
So would I have to do that and make that done, or when we got it all surveyed and platted?
When you bring the plat back to Mr.
Needs to say that in the plat.
Yes, sir.
Egress is off of Highway 79.
Yeah.
Any other discussion, council? All in favor said motion signify by raise your right hand. Motion passed
It
unanimously.
does look great.
Thank you.
Do a good job. It looks
Yeah,
really
keep
good.
it in the same condition you have the other one. Looks good.
Good up. Thank y'all.
Who seconded?
I did.
Bradley, Councilmember Caffey. Hey, y'all can stick around.
Yeah, you want to hang out a little longer? We only got
Have to
2 more hours.
leave. Well, he got out of here, didn't
He
they?
did. He got what he needed.
All right.
Is that their phone?
Uh-oh.
Oh, they'll be back.
Here, I'll give it.
Let a guy with one of the badges and guns chase him down.
Won't be the first time she's been chased by it.
All right, moving on. Well, you've been on a roll tonight. Agenda item number 15.
Maybe yes.
Consider and take any necessary action on the first reading of an ordinance to reestablish the Library Advisory Board. Tim?
Yes, so last month after you guys dissolved the library board, I tasked Barbara with helping develop a new ordinance to reestablish it. And there are some changes. It does set the voting membership on the board to 5 members, and it allows for up to 2 of those members to be from the ETJ. It also requires that the library director and the council-appointed liaison, because previously the mayor was supposed to be the liaison, but this makes the council-appointed liaison ex officio members with the library director. It requires that the library board members be card holders of the Lucy Hill Patterson Memorial Library, and that they volunteer at least 2 hours per month at the library under the direction of the director. And I did that purposely to kind of establish that relationship of the board members and the director. And it's intended to more clearly lay out the role of the advisory board and their relationship with the director. This is the first reading of this ordinance. Hopefully you've had a chance to review it, because after the first reading, before next month, it comes back for final adoption. You can make whatever changes that you want.
Mr. Kelty, when would a council-appointed liaison, when would they be appointed?
The council would, after the board is established, probably at the next council meeting, I would bring board members. After it's adopted, I would bring potential board members, and then you all would have to decide amongst yourself who the board liaison would be. I would make that through, that they would serve through April, because I think that typically you'll reappoint liaisons in May.
Will this be the first board, I think it's great, that we have people in the ETJ?
No, it's not, as a matter of fact. So, and, we need to actually formalize the Airport Advisory Board, but actually the 5 members on that board, none of them are residents of the city. I think on the cemetery board, we have some folks from outside. The MDD allows for people to live outside city limits. Jim, are there anybody on the board that's outside city limits? Garrett is outside city limits.
Barely, yeah.
So there's only actually the plan commission, and if you had a board of adjustments, those are required to live in the city limits. Barbara, did she step out?
Stepped out.
Okay, I think the plan commission and building standards commission are ones that require in-city residents.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, we ready?
Yep, do it, Bradley.
Ready? Council entertain action on agenda item number 15.
I'll make a motion that we accept the first reading of an ordinance reestablishing the Library Advisory Board.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second.
The motion is a second on the floor, is there any discussion?
Before you vote, are there any changes that you all would like to see specifically
No, I'm fine with
to what we're proposing?
You didn't recommend any of his motion, so I think we're good with it, but thank you
Okay.
for double checking. Any further discussion? All in favor of motion, said motion signify by raising your hand. Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 16, consider taking any necessary action on the first reading of an ordinance for the budget amendment.
I would ask that you table this, Mayor.
Sir, you want to table this?
Yes, please.
Council, I'll entertain action to table this agenda item.
I'll make a motion, we table agenda item number
16.
16.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second on the floor to table agenda item number 16. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 17, consider taking any necessary action on an interlocal agreement for fire code and investigations between the city of Rockdale and Milam County.
Mayor, if I had known that we were going to have a guest here I would have put this earlier on the agenda, but.
He doesn't mind waiting.
All right.
No, I'm joking. If I liked him better, I would have moved it up on the agenda. You just figured it out. Kidding. I was hoping you'd stay and spend some hotel motel time.
What was Richard's last name? That nurse practitioner.
Josh, I'm sorry, buddy. I would have moved you up.
No. I enjoy listening to the discussion. There's some issues that I've not previously been privy to, so it's fascinating to listen in. I don't want to steal Ben's thunder, but the basic premise is this. We've had a number of issues that have come up that the fire department's responded to occupancies around town and identified life safety concerns that they've asked me to intervene on. I jokingly tell people that as the county fire marshal, I'm kind of like a vampire. I have to be invited in, right? My authority stops at the door to the house, and I can't do anything to the city unless you all ask me to. By the same token, cities this size struggle with being able to fund a full-time employee to do fire code enforcement, plans review, inspections, arson investigation, all that kind of stuff. We have a fantastic working relationship with Chief Metters and Rockdale Police Department. We have a fantastic working relationship with Chief McQuinn and the Rockdale Volunteer Fire Department. I'm also a Rockdale volunteer member. I live in the community. My family lives and works here. And ultimately, I want to make sure that the occupancies that we all inhabit every day are safe and effective. Our vision is that hopefully down the road, because these are the same emergencies regardless of boundaries, and these are the same firefighters regardless of boundaries that are responding to them, when the fire department goes into a building outside the city limits or a building inside the city limits, they're going to interface with that building exactly the same way. They're going to have the same protective systems in place, the same key combinations on their lock boxes. They can expect the same hose fittings on the buildings when they show up to it, that they can approach those emergencies in a coherent manner, regardless of where it is in the county. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have.
I can just say this. I've worked with Josh Todd on many of a scene, from EMS to fire to multiple different types of scenes, and he is one amazing professional and very well educated and trained at what he does. And he will do one fine job for the city of Rockdale and the citizens of Rockdale.
What was the last name?
Todd.
Todd.
Richard Todd's his dad.
Okay.
So, and this
Absolutely
agreement is between the county and the city to entertain the services of the fire marshal, so, the county fire marshal.
Question to you,
so
but thank
it's
you
not,
for
it's
your
not an
service.
agreement, just to be clear, it's not an agreement with Mr. Todd, but
Right.
he is the one that will be,
Conducting all the.
Is this normal, is it like we're just not getting up to speed with other people do, other cities and
it is,
counties?
it's just based on the size of the city, it is. As the city grows in size, we may bring it back in-house. This is basically, this goes through November of 2026, so we've only got about 6 months, and then it automatically renews for a year at a time. So it would only be, if we ever decided to bring it back in-house, it wouldn't take that
I
long.
would just say, Josh probably doesn't remember this, but we talked about a year ago when I needed a bill. When you stopped me too, it's sheriff's department, that's different. So. We talked about a building I have in Cameron, and city didn't want to inspect it. Josh wasn't able to inspect it because he didn't have a contract with the city, and we just sat there for a long time trying to figure out what to do. So I think it is very important that the city engages in this.
It is. I agree.
Very good stuff.
I make a motion that we enter into an interlocal agreement for the fire code and investigate it between the city of Rockdale and Milam County.
Second that agreement.
Motion is second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously.
I'll start getting hungry.
Welcome aboard, Josh.
Thank you, sir.
Agenda item number 18, consider and take any necessary action on a development agreement with Millerton Landing LLC for the development of a 400-acre residential subdivision.
400 unit,
400 unit. I'm sorry, I read acres. I apologize.
that's all right.
My eyes are getting tired. I've read a lot tonight.
Well, and this is the last thing on the regular agenda, and I will say, this is for your consideration for approval for the development agreement. It's approximately $29 million development. The bulk of this is being handled by the developer. They are asking for us to set up a PID and a TERS, similar to Cornerstone, although Cornerstone had a 60% TERS. We are recommending a 50% TERS here, And then the PID assessment in Cornerstone was about $3,100. I think they're talking about $2,800 a year for this particular development. Brian Jarrett and Jim Maddox are here to talk to y'all and kind of go over everything. And I will let you know, according to Barbara, Mayor, you do reserve the right after discussion here in open session to recess into executive session under 551087 Economic Development prior to making some kind of decision.
So before we start, you referenced, excuse me, the PID. Is that something we would be voting on tonight as well?
This
Or
is
just the development agreement?
So this is the development agreement, but the development agreement agrees to set up a PID and a TERS. Barbara, correct me if I'm wrong. There's separate action that kind of lines that out, but it would all, I mean, we did go into quite a bit of detail here in the development agreement in regard to the PID, and, you know, so I think that, and Brian can respond to this, they're looking at about, of the $29 million, we're recovering about $10 million from the PID assessment.
Yeah, we have roughly $29 million worth of eligible costs. That's not the total cost. Roughly $29 million of eligible costs, of which we're trying to get, we were estimating approximately $10 million back to make the project feasible.
And
Through the PID assessment, which again would not affect any residents other than those that knowingly are willing to purchase.
We did include in the development agreement a complete section on PID disclosure. It's an Exhibit E, I believe.
I read that PID disclosure. We had that in the previous PID, and that didn't work.
Well, you also adopted tonight a PID policy that sets it by ordinance. And so that actually gives the city recourse for violations like we didn't have with Cornerstone. So there are
I think we probably need to go into closed session, and I want to discuss this PID further.
Do you want to hear Mr., I don't know which one you are, out first so we can talk about whatever he has?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that.
Give us a quick rundown before we go.
Sure. Good evening, Mayor and Council. A lot of this is very similar to what you saw about 6 months ago when we came. And in that period of time, we've been working through the details with the staff to our engineering and financial consultants, the city's consultants as well, bond counsel, financial advisors, legal, all of those. And we have tonight in front of you for consideration the results of all that. So just a brief recap and quick run through the location of the project is approximately 121 acres on the west side of town, outlined in the red there. Next slide is the conceptual land plan showing about 420 lots. We have some various versions of this, but this is the one in front of you. And also in compliance with what we're showing in the development agreement. A little bit about us. Again, Jim Maddox and myself, Brian Gerard with Gerard Development. Been in this industry for a long time, and very proud of our resume, and feel that we're a great fit for doing this project here, and have many successful projects very similar, utilizing TERSs, PIDs, MUDs, all sorts of different these are examples of some of our projects, primarily within the Houston area where we live in office, but been spending more time here in the Central Texas region. And
of mid $200,000 to the mid 300, up to maybe $400,000 range, except for some specialty product on some larger lots if that happens. But that'll put it right in the competitive zone, similar to what you're seeing in Cornerstone. We do plan on bumping up the amenities. I'll go through some of that here. One thing we're anticipating doing is utilizing the existing features of the property with the lakes and amenitizing those, utilizing them for also for detention and runoff purposes, water quality, and accentuating that with walking trails, fishing docks, picnic areas, landscaping, and here's some examples of other projects we've done with similar features. I do have a typo on one of these. The 30-foot width is correct on the streets. The concrete curb and gutter with the asphalt paving portions, as we've worked out with the city being better for maintenance purposes. Cost-wise, it's a no asphalt streets. And so it'll be all underground utilities, power, gas, telecom, wet utilities like the water, sewer, and storm sewer. Part of this is, of course, to fit into the planning and zoning restrictions to create a planned development district that implies and sets forth the development criteria in order to deliver these lots with acceptable lot sizes, setbacks, all of that good stuff.
And you list on there, Brian, 45-foot minimum widths. What percentage do you say are 45 and what's percentage are 50?
Right now, we're not
50
planning
foot.
on any, but we just want a little flexibility so that we can have varying lot sizes. Right now, we have it laid out as 50-foot minimum lots by 110 feet. And we're saying I believe in the development agreement, we have an average minimum of So the goal is to make sure we have
Okay.
minimum average lot size. But right now, they're all shown as 50s, and maybe some 45s, some 55s, but average out. Infrastructure impacts, of course, we need to extend the water line to us, and we have done significant work on preliminary engineering and costs associated with that. So we'll be working to bring that water line from its existing location to that western portion of the city, as well as upgrading and building new lift stations on our property and adjacent to it. Of course, this will all be new infrastructure, all new facilities. That's what the PID assessment goes towards, a partial reimbursement. Access for our tract is going to be along County Road 306. You may recall we worked with the school, and it has been approved to take that little corner where that little last cul-de-sac is down on the bottom and square it up with the little green space area in our corner. It creates a little more efficiency for our tract. The school district is very much in favor of maintaining that portion as well, so that they can have future access to County Road 306.
You couldn't get that one neighbor to sell out right there in that little corner?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know. But,
Yeah.
but we're really residential developers, and that's, where we focus on. We think it'll be a great economic impact to the city, bringing 400 new homes, over $120 million in assessed value, new water and sewer customers paying their water bill and utilizing excess capacity that the city has, and over 1,400 new residents supporting local businesses and existing businesses. We talked about the PID and the TERS.
This is critical to our project, and it's been the basis of our discussion, frankly, all along. In order to be competitive, in order to sell homes within the price range that people can afford, and bring this new development, we are anticipating creating a PID with the TERS overlay, with the revenue sharing from the increment, with the value being 50%, which allows us to buy that PID rate down. Our goal is to keep the overall tax rate under $3, and that will be right in line with Cornerstone and other new subdivisions throughout the region. For reference, in Houston, we see a lot of them at 350 or higher, but the Central Texas market necessitates a little lower tax rate. So this is not a surprise. It's not a bone of contention. I know that there has been some history, and I've seen that. We will make sure that everything is properly disclosed, signage. I have not, I've done several PIDs. I have not had a single issue. And generally, as long as it's presented and explained correctly, then it's really a benefit to all. Otherwise, the homes would be much more expensive and much more expensive.
Do you have a home builder in mind? All right.
We do, but we're not under contract yet because we want to make sure we are.
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt. You said you've done several PIDs. How many properties have you, developments have you built? I mean, just on average. I mean, give me a guesstimate.
Maybe 100.
Okay. And when you say several PIDs, how many does several mean?
Let's see, I think I've done 5.
So 5 out of the 100 properties you built were PIDs?
That's right.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
A lot of our work in Houston and in general utilize MUDs, and PIDs are a relatively recent thing. And so as we've been working in some of these smaller and city municipalities, we've started to see the PIDs become more the desired route from cities because they have more control versus in-city MUD, for example.
So generally, a MUD will go on forever because they always come up with additional improvements that the MUD will issue. In a PID, it's controlled by council what that money can be used for, and typically, we're using it to buy down the PID assessment. Or excuse me, I'm sorry, the PID is used to offset and cover part of the cost. And once that's gone, once that's paid off, it's gone.
So it's fair to say 5%, 5
Of a PID.
of 100, right, but of 100
MUD
properties.
serves the same purpose.
I get that, yeah. I just want to I want to make sure that they're familiar with the PIDs, because I think what we got kind of lost in, I think we can all agree on this. I'm not sure that we were coached in the wrong direction. I don't know about the rest of the council, blame it on my lack of understanding, but I'm not sure we weren't misled in that direction. And I just want to make sure that we're all familiar with this before we even dive deep into this and give this some considerable thought.
Certainly. I'm very comfortable with them. We've had successful projects, and every city that I've worked in has welcomed the PID and praised the PID. The homeowners, we're creating neighborhoods where we have happy homeowners. So yes, I'm confident through my past history. I don't know, I can't speak to the other developer or what was said. I wasn't here for that. But we have very good, representation and history, and I believe that your city does as well. And for better or for worse, the city has probably learned maybe what to look out for through that process. And we want to make sure that we build on that and utilize your experience as well with your own residents and your own experience to make sure that this is a positive experience for everybody. So.
see ourselves as partners, and we've been approaching that throughout this process, and want to continue that.
Tim, a question for you, and you may not know the answer to this, but in Thorndale, D.R. Horton has a neighborhood, and there's not a PID. To my knowledge, there's not a MUD, and they're selling $450,000 plus homes over there, and they're almost sold out in that neighborhood. How have they done that?
It really kind of depends on the fact that they're selling them for how much, 400?
They're $400,000 to $500,000 homes, I
They're a
think.
notch up from the Cornerstone.
And I don't know,
homes too.
I don't,
Like 30 or something.
you know, so, and that's
They
one
were
of the,
able to tie into the city infrastructure. They didn't have to put in the.
Oh, okay, I got you.
and that also, you know, without the PID, situation, your lot costs are gonna be, you know, 75. How much more?
Well, $10 million, 400 lots.
It's $25,000 more. So if they're selling lots for development for $30,000, instead it's gonna be $55,000. And so it really drives up the marketability of the homes.
Okay.
My name is Jim Maddox. Let me make a comment about the lot cost and the reason for the PID. We contacted the Sandow Lakes folks on this T1 Energy deal and those 1,800 jobs. The average salary out there is about $65,000. So when we start looking at the average salary there, it doesn't do us any good to build a bunch of $400,000 and $500,000 houses that can't afford it. So we have to go back, and we are strictly driven by the demographics of what the home buyers can buy and what they can pay for the houses. The lots, the reason for the PID is to offset that $10 million worth of extra cost that we would have to add into it. If we added $25,000 to the lot, each one of the lots, that translates to $75,000 to $100,000 extra for the house. We've overpriced that we can't sell the house. So our subdivision that we're proposing is really aimed at the 1,800 employees for T1 Energy who make $65,000 a year. It's just that simple. We have other subdivisions where we don't have to have them. We're selling lots for $100,000. So we're driven by the market and by the demographics of the employee base.
I got a question. On the 78 cents per $100 valuation, how do you come up with that?
That was at the direction of the city financial advisor and the city's PID consultant. So that sets a maximum tax rate of what can be levied. So now, again, we will need to be under that. So that was how that was calculated.
You talking about the tax rate or the assessed valuation, 126 million?
No, the assessment levied on a lot shall be where, I guess, B on section 4?
The 78 cents.
Yeah, 78 cents on the dollar, yeah, or per $100. I mean, I've done, when I got this packet, I've done some research on it. It's really high in this area for, with PIDs. I mean, that falls on the backs of, you know, the constituent, you know, citizens here.
And that 78 cents, is that after the buy down or before the buy down?
Again, it's max. Originally, there was an overall tax rate, max, and we said, well, what if the city, we had originally, it was like 310 for a market. You know, saying, look, we're not gonna be higher. And then, the recommendation from bond council was, well, what happens if the school district lowers their rates, like what happened recently? That way the developer can't just make up the difference through that reduction. This is gonna be the max that the PID assessment. Now, I have others that it's over $1. So, again, it's all 78 cents, yes, it's, I'm not saying it's not a lot, but it's within the market. And again, that's a max. tax on ourselves. This is something that, you know, will be escrowed and homeowners will be paying. And it allows us to sell our lots and subsequently the homes at a lower price.
No, I mean, I live in Cornerstone, so ever since the pit thing happened over there, I've been deep in research and calling people, doing, you know, on that, and 78 cents is the highest I've seen. I mean, that, I've seen 78 cents, 80 cents, like in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, some in the Houston area, but around here, Central Texas, up north Waco, whatever, 60, 65 cents is what I've seen. So that's why I questioned on where that figure came from.
Well, again, we may set it at 65 cents, but in a development agreement, we need to set a max. And we're going to,
So that's not really set in stone then?
that's right. It'll be set with the service and assessment plan once we go through, you know, proposed values
And as part of the PID, after, if the development agreement is approved, they would close on the property. We would move forward on the PID ordinance, which would kind of set all that set up with the annual assessment plan.
Right.
And the TERS ordinance. So that still all has to come up. This just kind of lays out the framework proposal.
So that actual rate would be voted on and determined at a different time.
And it can't be more than the 78 cents.
And that's set by who? Who sets that?
City council.
The council sets that?
Well, it's negotiated between the developer and the city.
Okay.
you'll ultimately vote on what's called a service and assessment plan, which will go through in much greater detail how those assessments are.
Yeah, I wasn't here for the whole Cornerstone setup, so I'm learning a little bit too.
Nor was I.
Well, we can do it again.
Well,
I
and,
like that, we can't.
and I was not either, but there's been a lot of lessons learned.
Wait, what's the Cornerstone was a 60%, right?
60% on the TERS,
On the
which the
TERS.
TERS basically captures that increment that they create, because they're, you know, when they create, what's the estimated amount of assessed value you'll create for the subdivision?
Ours was called roughly 120, 130 million.
So of that 130 million, it'll generate additional ad valorem taxes. 60% is captured by the TERS to buy down the rate. 40%, or excuse me, in Cornerstone, 40% came back to the city. In this proposal, 50% would go to the buy down of the PID assessment, 50% would come into the city's general fund.
When does that end?
I'm sorry?
When, yes.
TERS will end when the PID ends.
30 years.
Yeah, it'll be coterminous with the.
And what is this a 30-year as
No,
well?
this is a 30-year PID. And so whenever they issue bonds, it'll be issued for a 30-year bond, a 30-year debt, and then the TERS would be coterminous with that.
What's a standard? Is there a standard PID? Is it anywhere from 40 to 60%? Is that kind of a standard?
That you're talking about TERS or PID?
PID.
The PID is not a 60% or 50%. It is an assessment to generate.
Assessment. Okay, I was talking,
It's
I
an assessment,
apologize.
so this sets a maximum amount of 78 cents. And with Cornerstone, we didn't set it at a maximum like that. They actually set it with a tax stack. So I think it was $3.10. So when you add the city's tax rate and this ISD tax rate and the county tax rate and the ESD tax rate, is there any more that I'm missing? And then the PID, it couldn't be more than 310. So the issue that I had, and I brought this up to Barbara and the Bod Council Financial Advisor, my goal is not to be at 85 cents as a tax rate. My goal is to bring their tax rate down in the future to like around 60 or 65 cents. The county has realized a lot of additional assessed value, so their tax rate is probably going to drop. I didn't want to open that window to allow that PID assessment to grow to match the savings that we're providing.
Correct.
So that's why I recommended the capping, and based on Jennifer Ritter, our financial advisor, she ran the numbers and came up with that 78.
Why is she not here tonight?
She's
critical to this process.
if we go into executive session, we might be able to join her. She was gonna be at the last meeting, and it was determined that she was not necessary. I don't think you were there at the last meeting there, in an executive session. So,
And speaking of the TERS credit, we did agree in the development agreement, done both ways, but we agreed to set the maximum TERS credit, which means that as the property values grow, essentially the city's share of that tax revenue will grow. So even though it will start, at 50%, over time, as those property values grow, effectively, the city will be
capturing more and more.
capturing more of the revenue, and our residents will get a set maximum credit. So once they hit that value, they will get that set credit towards their assessment. Their assessment will stay flat. So effectively, their rate goes down, but their amount.
What other cost will the city be incurring?
Okay, so one of the things that we were running into, when we first started talking to Mr. Maddox and Mr. Gerard, we were also talking about the 6-acre development, and they were supposed to extend the water line to County Road 308. And the cost of that was about about $900,000. $900,000. And we had agreed that we would reimburse them for half of that cost. Once they constructed the 2 QSRs at the front of the property. The anticipation was that they were gonna get going on that, and that by the time that these folks were ready to do that project, they would be able to tie into that water line and take it the rest of the way. At this point right now, that's off the table, so they have to take it all the way either to All Day or Walmart, whichever way we go. But they've got it's about the same cost either way. It's about $2 million in off-site water and sewer costs. What we put in the agreement was that we would reimburse them 50% of the off-site sewer cost, using the proceeds from the sale of that 6-acre property. So if we can get a developer to develop the 6-acre property, buy that property, by the way, extending the water line past that property increases the value of that property. So we'll be able to sell it for more than we could today, makes it more developable. But we'd used the proceeds from the sale of that property to reimburse them for the 50% of the cost of the water and sewer off-site expense. If that property sells for $700,000 or $800,000 or $400,000, the balance, the difference between that cost and the $1 million potentially that we would have to reimburse them for would be due, I think it was 4 years from the completion of that water line. So by the time they complete it, they'll be building houses out there, having more customers. I wanted to give us plenty of time to generate additional revenue to cover that additional cost.
I would never say plenty of time. We can't get a damn street paved.
Well, the way we set it up was that we will be responsible for design and install of those facilities. And then when that property sells at that point.
What about sewer?
Yeah, same story.
So there's a lift station, if I understand, there's a lift station just past the intermediate school, or just past the.
Yeah, right in front of the nursing home.
And does that lift station, the lift station itself and all the lines tied to it, has the capacity to handle this, or we're gonna have to upgrade that lift station?
No, so this project will upgrade the size of that lift station and also the force main that leads from the lift station where it dumps into gravity.
This project will fund it. The city will not fund any of that.
That's correct.
Nothing.
We are proposing in the development agreement that we'll pay for 50% up to $1 million of off-site water and sewer costs, which would be that lift station and the water line extension.
So here's my concern. We agree to do that. They go out here and they develop this neighborhood, and they're able to sell 25% of them in 3 or 4 years, like's happened somewhere else, we're still on the hook for our $1 million, but it's only generated a quarter of what was anticipated. I don't know how to get around that, but I feel like we often say, we'll reimburse you when you do X, but there's another piece of it that's tied to X that doesn't happen. We're still on the hook for that. If they're only able to sell half of these homes, we're still on the hook for the whole thing.
Our full amount.
Yeah, that concerns me, because I don't remember what the time frame was, but there was, when everything was hot to trot in here on Cornerstone, there was a whole lot more houses going to be built out there by now than there are out there now. But our bills don't stop because they weren't able to sell those lots.
It was my understanding that part of the development of Cornerstone and the forecasting for that was tied directly to Samsung development. That was before SLR was even in the picture.
Samsung's developed.
And so.
Well, we didn't miss that boat. I mean.
It is, well, Samsung, actually, Samsung went into a year, I mean, they started developing, but they hit a year-long delay that was uncertain what would happen when they were having chip manufacturing failures. So.
But in the event, SLR could have the same kind of problems.
Right.
And that implode in front of us, and
It's
we're going back to what Lynn's saying.
Well, I think, again,
How do we-
the reimbursement is tied to the sale of that property. Otherwise, there's no way to get water for this. So that was our, I would say if we, I think there's clauses in there about, we have to build. I mean, we're not doing this for fun. So we will have already spent our money, building the city's facilities. And then the reimbursement, the 50% reimbursement would be tied to the sale of that property.
Well, that's just giving away proceeds that we get off of another property. It's still not making our problem any better. It's just our funding mechanism.
Well, it's that water line all the way to the western boundary.
Well,
So if we decided ourselves that we were gonna, or want the water line to the 6-acre property, it's an estimated cost of $900,000 to do that.
sure, running the
And so
water line there.
What this does is say, we can get that water line extended past that 6-acre property for $1 million. We don't have to pay for it for up to 4 years or until we sell the property.
Barbara, can we even at this point legally run water out to this property? I think I know the answer to this. No, we can't.
You can run the water out because they're not using it.
No, because it's in the boundaries of Post Oak Savannah, not Post Oak Savannah, Southwest Mile. We have to go through that.
We've been working on that.
That is included within the development agreement, that they will be working with us on resolving that. There is a portion of the property that is being served or potentially being served. I mean, there's some language on some deeds out there that talk about they don't like it, easements and things like that. It looks like there's possibly some lines on the PVC site that show lines out there. So if they come in and they say, we're here and we want to be part of the city, we don't want to be part of Southwest Mile, there's a process for that.
Yes, ma'am.
And they have agreed that they will walk hand in hand with us.
And I don't want to get into the legal aspects of their
The
private.
portion that's encumbered by Southwest Mile and Water Supply Corporation only extends 200 feet off of their lines, which I know it's gonna be a little hard to see, but this was a backup contingency plan where we put 1 acre lots along the frontage. But that's where that 200 foot, so the rest of it is not, encumbered by Southwest Mile.
Okay. And I know you're getting a lot of questions, but I think these are questions that we have to ask for our taxpaying citizens. We need to clearly understand this as the decision makers for our taxpaying citizens.
Certainly understand.
Doug, don't leave.
Mr. Mayor, when you get over 70 years old, pills and pain start dictating what you can and cannot do.
I'm over 80 and I'm still sitting here.
But I will give you an assessment and I will give you an advisement after the mics are turned off. My assessment is they've taken to heart our concerns that we presented to them and they are following through.
I did want to hear from you, Doug.
Concerned about ourselves, so I know where you're at. We've been there a couple of months now. Yeah, and when you go in there to discuss it, I don't know, we don't have DoorDash. I don't know what y'all are gonna do. Plan for a meal, I think. Anyway.
Thank you, Doug.
That's my assessment, and then I'll give you some advice after the mics go off.
I legally can't do that, Doug, but I'll.
After our meeting, a comment was made about an eating establishment, and it's taken me months to squash that fire that there was an eating establishment more or less tied in with this, and so don't go there is all I'm telling you. Now it's on the mic and the whole world knows.
Mayor, you had
Yeah, worst kept secret.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Do you want to go executive session?
Y'all?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Do I want to? No, but.
Yeah, okay, it's 8:40 PM. We are going to adjourn from regular session and go into executive session under the clause, thank you for that,
551.
551-087.
Economic development negotiations.
Economic development, deliberations regarding economic development. What time is it? Okay. We are adjourned from closed session. We're re-adjourning back into open session officially at 9:41 PM. Council, is there any action coming out of executive session?
Yes, sir. I make a motion to approve the development agreement as presented with the amendments to sections 6.7C and 6.8C as discussed in executive session.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor of said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Council, is there any other business to attend to tonight before adjournment?
Dinner.
Being none, we are officially adjourned at 9:41 PM. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.